Okay, it is December 7th, 2017, and that means we're 1 week into the Dumb Fuck of the Year, the third annual Dumb Fuck of the Year award. Obviously, there's about 4 weeks in a month, so I'm going to do a summation after each week, and this being the week one. And what I'm going to actually be doing is I'm going to be asking some of the people that have voted for some of the underdogs, the long shots, to maybe either change their votes or at least split the vote a little bit more because a lot of candidates right now are like at 20 something votes. Well, they ain't gonna have a shot. It's just not gonna happen. So I'm gonna go over the totals right now, real quickly, and then if any of you guys have voted for some of these people, maybe I can convince you to change your vote. And no, I'm not doing an back crack ass whatever waxing or stripping. You don't want to see me strip, trust me. Had it been like 20 years ago, I would have probably considered it. Or I'll have drag do it for me by proxy. That's fine. I got no problems with that.
Yeah, I need to lose 50 pounds first.
No, 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 no. You're fine. I mean, I am not ashamed by any means. It's just nobody wants to see this. Trust me. But where we're standing right now, for those who are still paying attention, and a few people are in this, because I mean, there's been 2,987 views so far on Red's notification video that has all the individual names. So there are a lot of people that are interested. So anyways, here we go. This is the summation for December 7th, 2016, 1 week in to the third annual Dumb Fuck of the Year award. And we have Nature Hacker, 23. TrueEmpiricism, 245. Matt Slick, 43. Crow 777, 37. Anthony Riley, 19. Antonio Subarats, 171. Pete Shea, 23. Fuck It World, 27. Von Helton, 186. And Dars Deity at 244. So True Empiricism is in the lead by one vote. And that has not changed in the last, I don't know, like 24 hours. When I checked it yesterday, whatever time it was, these are pretty close to the totals that were there. The only one that has actually been changed a lot was Von Helton. He's gone up considerably. So the top three right now are True Empiricism, followed by Darn's Deity, followed by Antonio Subarats, followed by Von Helton for the top four. So Nature Hacker, Matt Slick, Crow 777, Anthony Riley, Fuck It World, and Pete Shea are pretty well out of the running. So, guys, what do we need to do to get these guys to vote for our beloved Ronnie Rodriguez?
We may have to enlist the help of people outside of the typical G plus community because it seems as though everyone's somewhat expended their vote. We know we've never really had anything this tight before, and I got to hand it to Jack and some of the other pal talkers. They're going for your boy Darwin's deity, and as they should. So I think we may have to extend our reach a little bit to some of the Facebook groups, especially some of the maybe drunken peasants crowd and maybe even atheist experience crowd.
Well, here's the thing. As you know, I have posted on my Facebook page. I don't know what goes on with my feed because when I posted my 1 year smoke 3, I've got about 60 plus people that are like, "Yay!" Right, and that's what I used to get per post. I used to get about 60 people having an interaction or whatever they call them, engagement. Now, when I post something and it's not a life event, I get like two, and one of them are you. So I posted, hey, this is the Dumb Fuck of the Year award, and there's been no engagement on it.
Oh, I
I'm
saw
very
it.
surprised. It didn't cause I have 500 Facebook friends, 500 plus Facebook, 530 something Facebook friends. Not a single one of them, besides a couple that I asked specifically, had changed their vote. I asked like 5 people to actually specifically to do it, but I mean, I thought that I'd get like to the mass audience, and I have reached out to people like Arguing for Ignorance. I've reached out to King Crocoduck. I've reached out to Sean Gee, Christopher Hislop. I mean, I've reached out to these people, but so far nobody's been really helping us out here. So, have you put it on
Well,
your Facebook page? Anybody?
I haven't, but I can send it to the Drunken Peasants Facebook inbox just to see if they'll play it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Why not? You know what, Vincent? I'm gonna rely on you on this, since you know more about the Drunken Peasants than I do, and you know that Ronnie has been on the Drunken Peasants before. I am sure that they would be fascinated to know that he's up for running for Dumbfuck of the Year. Do you think you could type up a quick blurb and send it to them and in
I'll
mass
just
and I mean send it to like all of them, TJ,
I'll send it to TJ on
Scotty.
Twitter, at Amazing Atheist. Hey, at Amazing Atheist, this is True Empiricism up for Dumb Fuck of the Year.
Help us out.
Yeah,
Okay.
not a problem.
Yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do. I mean, I'm not gonna like get all like butthurt if Darwin wins.
Maybe we can get a couple 100,000 people to jump over him like he was made of chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake. Well, and Super Rats, is worthy too. I mean, if he wins, I'm not going to be upset. I mean, he did a dumb fuckery. Can't deny that. I try not to make this personal because, we have such a long history with Ronnie, although it's personal because we have a long history of Ronnie, but it doesn't have to be,
Well, no, I'm sorry. Ronnie wanting to box drag is dumber than dude ending up on Pornhub because he was a moron. Sorry.
That definitely is up there, right? I mean, he did pull out the big guns at the end of the year. I'm going to say the dumbest fucking thing of all time. I want to box Dragnot. Yeah, that's
as somebody who's
fuckery.
met drag in person, I would not want to step into a ring with him.
I know people that fight that have boxed that have said they would not want to take him on. So yeah, I just can't even imagine that.
What's with this?
I'll box you, General.
Boxing match.
I don't know, but I'll box you. You're a little bit more in my weight class, and you're a wuss. So, yeah, I'll take you. How much do you weigh, General?
Me?
How much do you weigh?
I weigh 85 kg.
So about 180 pounds.
Yeah. 100. 170, 75. I don't know.
187 pounds. So,
are you sure you want to pick on me, Steve?
Well, I weigh the same as you. I weigh 198, 197 last time I got weighed.
But
which I don't know how. I've never weighed more than 170 in my life, I thought. And all of a sudden, when I went to my last time I went to the doctors, I was 197. I'm like, what the hell?
But I am a a martial artist, so
yeah, but that doesn't mean shit when you box. Boxing is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, boxing is very tough. I agree.
Yeah. But anyways, what happened? I guess Ronnie decided to puff out his chest once again and be a badass, and thought it would be a smart move to invite Dragnot for a couple rounds of boxing. And Dragnot wants to do like more MMA style, and he's counter-offered with like one boxing match and one MMA match. He's got about 40 pounds plus on Ronnie. Plus, he's got military training. He's got basic combat experience. So
I'm here. My son is making a mess, so that's why I have my mic muted.
So drag. Is this actually happening, or is this just a laugh?
Well, I think it's a laugh as far as the challenge itself. Like it is honestly laughable. When I first watched it, I'm like, this dude, he will always find a way to try and one up someone. So I said, you know what? What he's hoping is that I was going to back down and go, you know what? Yeah, that's too scary. No. I said, okay, well, fine. If he really wants this to happen, we can set it up. And I said, you know what? I do want a stipulation that would give me a bit of an edge here, since he says that he's been training in boxing for quite some time, and honestly, boxing is not my thing. I am more trained with modern Army combatives and high school wrestling, so that would be where my strength lies. So if he wants to have one round to box and another round where I excel, then that's fine. But in my video, I said, well, you know what? With that comes the understanding that when we are down there, it's going to be almost a life or death situation. And I use that language to kind of point out something to him. When the difference between you training for an MMA fight and the way that I've trained in modern Army combatives is completely different. When I'm training with my fellow soldier, we're trying to actually kill each other. And Slim Jim can attest to this. You don't, go easy on the guy next to you, even though you've been through basic with him, you've been through AIT with him, you've known him for years, you've met his family, you were trying to kill him.
I completely understand that. In Kendo, it's the same concept, because that's the samurai. Well, anyway, I completely understand what you're saying.
And that's, to me, that's something that he's having a hard time comprehending. So I said, well, if he really wants to see me at my best, then he can agree to that stipulation, and I will show him exactly the fruits of my labor.
how many times did you die in boot camp, Drag?
Oh, toward the end, I want to say I actually went toward it. I want to say week maybe 7 or 8. We had our combatives training, and I lost to. We had like a tournament style, and I was runner up because the dude who beat me was a fucking beast, and I beat probably 4 people, including this one kid who was a fucking rat. So I fancied myself good enough to where when I got to my unit, I was my commander's training partner, and he was actually going to the combatives tournament in Fort Hood, and so the only reason I couldn't go is because I wasn't level 2 yet. So I wasn't bad.
See, I didn't have that in the Navy. We don't have combat training besides small arms fire. You know, we have to qualify on weapons. But other than that, we don't do hand-to-hand combat. Well, yeah, it's incorporated into like when you have full kit on and someone's actually trying to like reach for your weapon and all the other kind of stuff. So you will actually, there's a day that you come in and wear full kit, and then the instructors will get in that big old bodysuit like what they train dogs in, and they'll come in, they'll try to grab your weapon, and so you have to stop them from grabbing your weapon but not kill them, and that's the hardest part. Well, like you said, right. I think you said before that you're trained 2 ways: either subdue or kill. I mean, there's really no other options.
Right. I mean, you're trying to not kill someone, but you do have to subdue them. One of the goals is to gain the dominant position. You close the distance, you gain the dominant position, and you finish the fight. That's your mantra for modern army combatives.
Vincent just said he's tweeting TJ, so we'll see what happens. You know what? We should invite TJ one of these days. He generally he doesn't really go anywhere unless you're part of his group. But
Drag, how did this all start?
Well, this started when Gman had made a really interesting statement about mocking his beliefs, and so he started making these comparisons to like ISIS and stuff, like really, really awkward statements, and they're still up on his channel. And so I said, you know what, G-Man, I'm not one of these people. Oh, by the way, he also said, well, people who are saying this stuff to him are all keyboard warriors. And I said, look, not everyone who disagrees with you is a keyboard warrior. There are some of us on the internet who have talked the talk and walked the walk multiple times and all throughout life. I am one of those people. I will fuck somebody up in real life, but it does not have to be that way. There should be nothing on the internet that you encounter to make you want to physically hurt someone.
Yeah, I don't see the point of it all. I mean,
that was my exact quote. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. True Empiricism played the quote. He played the entire quote, well, 90% of it, and he stopped it when I said there should be nothing, and then it kind of just trails off, and he stops it. So he goes, oh, how about this, Drake? Now, how about we have a friendly fight over here in Chicago in the gym, me and my trainer, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, come on, are you fucking serious, dude? And so G-Man saw
you
that.
A dance-off.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like I'm going to go to some fucking slum in
Chicago.
Chicago.
He might, no offense, Drag, but he might beat you with that.
He might.
Yeah,
that's why I said
he can crump. He's a good crumper, from what I understand. Yeah.
So how far away is True Empiricism from where you live?
It's about a 3-hour drive, if I'm not mistaken, to Chicago from here.
Well, that's not, that's not unreasonable. That's viable.
Well, I made the video, and he has, up till the end of the week to get in contact with me, because it
makes no sense to me.
The second he made that, I gave him the link to the Hangout, because someone told me while I had a live Hangout going on, and I posted on Google+, tagged him, gave him the link, went to the video, put a link there, went to his profile page, put a link there, nothing. Veckel commented a few hours later saying he wants a piece too. So I said, okay, well, Redline hosted a Hangout, and I said, invite True Empiricism and Veckel. If you guys want to set this up, let me know. And I've heard nothing, not hide nor hair from either of them.
Well, again, I mean, first of all, you're right. I mean, he's one of those people that's just very competitive for some reason, right? He thinks that all this is a competition, and then of course, if he shows you up, it's just solidifying his position about intelligent design and
yeah, oh yeah, evolution.
That's really what it boils down to. I'm not probably trying to be hyperbolic. This is really what he thinks in his brain that is what it's going to do. I don't see the need to be physical with somebody to get a point across. It's like what I've never sat there and bashed on Ronnie for not being a badass. You know, I've never said one way or another about it. I mean, I have no idea what his fucking skills are as far as like boxing, whatever. I never even thought about it. Why would I? Why would I care? But he's like, oh, well, you know, these people over there wouldn't say these things to us to their face. Well, bullshit. Yes, I would. I can guarantee it that I will say these to anybody's face if they want to sit there and listen to it. I got no qualms about that. I don't know why they think that we would somehow not say any of this. We're not being abusive. I mean, we say what we think.
It's not just that. It's that they equate, and Gman does especially, they equate the things that we say with the fact that we actually hate them and want them dead. Like, G-Man literally thinks that if I saw him on the street, or if Drag saw him on the street, that we would physically want to kill him.
Yeah, I don't know where this paranoia, delusional bullshit comes from.
Like, what the actual fuck? I don't hate the man. I just happen to think he's a fucking idiot and may need to go back to high school.
Yeah, I don't hate Ronnie. No, nowhere near. I mean, Ronnie's been really good to us, giving us, you know, enjoyment and entertainment for quite some time. I mean, why would I hate him for that?
I think maybe if we talked about other subjects, I might actually enjoy having a beer with him.
I wouldn't go that far.
Don't talk about ATP mayonnaise, please, unless you're going to put it on my sandwich.
No, Ronnie. I mean, there's people I wouldn't mind having a drink with. I've already said many times. I think Tommy Haw would be cool to go play pool with. I actually, you know, for some reason, having even the history I have with him, think he's pretty cool guy to go hang out with probably. But I just couldn't imagine hanging out with Ronnie. That just no. That'd be just.
Anyway, I think this is just an absolute joke. Speaking as an Australian, yeah. I mean, in Australia, if you want to have a little bit of a brawl, it should have already happened.
You don't plan it out. Well, I know. I've been in Australia, and I've almost got my share of fights down there. Those guys are aggressive, man. And then I've actually gotten into an altercation with an Australian once in Melbourne, and then the guy ended up buying me Foster's rest of the night with his wife. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't know what the hell the altercation was.
Wait. He bought you Foster's?
Yeah, Foster's beer.
Okay, he clearly didn't like you.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big fan of it either, but that seems to be the prevalent drink.
Well, no, seriously, like, Australians don't drink that shit. He didn't like you.
Well, he drank it. He drank it. Yeah. Well, I mean,
and
even
what really made me cringe was in TrueEmpiricism's video. He then put like a caveat footnote by saying, "Oh, by the way, I have a very dark past." I'm paraphrasing what he's saying.
Yeah, he's had people killed, I think. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. It's one of those ominous. He's gotten into fights.
Dragnot, if Dragnot goes too far or something like that.
Yeah, I'll break his nose.
Let me tell you, I heard that and I started pissing myself instantly.
Yeah, sounds like he's old OG, right? I mean, here's Ronnie, the original gangster. Matter of fact, that's a good video. I might have to do that. Maybe I'm gonna break out my Photoshop program. What is it, GIMP? What is it called?
Yeah, I think it's GIMP.
Because again, in a fight or before you match your opponent, you stay completely quiet. You just stay humble about it, and then you humiliate them in the fight. You don't just brag about it beforehand and even go as far as to say
Ronnie doesn't get anything right. Come on. It's just posturing. That's all it is. That's what makes it so funny though, because this is so typical Ronnie. I mean, anybody else doing this, I'd be like, okay, just ignore them. But this is comical.
You can actually tell that Ronnie doesn't do this often because he doesn't know about the head game.
Yeah, he's not good at psych. He's not going to psych drag out, right? It's just not going to happen.
I thought it was cute that he tried. Like he's
he's got a dark past drag, so be careful.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Like I said, he's taking people out, man. He's eliminated with extreme prejudice.
I guess okay, I'm trying to understand. So if I were to come in contact with somebody I'm legitimately scared. I'm actually standing in the kitchen trying to think now. What would someone's dark past have to be to legitimately scare me? Maybe something to do with like the Mexican cartel. Like if someone legitimately.
He's MS-13, I bet.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, I want to see his tats, man. I bet he has some badass MS-13 tats.
Like if he was with the Mexican cartel, like having people's families and stuff killed, then I would be legitimately intimidated.
He's like Breaking Bad because he's so good at chemistry. You know, he's been making like blue meth for real or something.
I fucking guess. Like
he's the cook.
like,
You know, when I think about
seriously?
this fight, all I can think of is that scene in Rocky 3 where Hulk Hogan throws Sylvester Stallone out of the ring. And I can just see Greg throwing Ronnie out of the ring like that.
Or worse, Dolph Lundgren. During the filming, Sylvester Stallone was it Rocky 4, I think it was, or 5 or 12 or 32 or whatever the hell it was. Had asked Dolph Lundgren to hit him as hard as he can to make it look real, and Dolph Lundgren hit him as hard as he can and punctured his ear. He punctured his eardrum. He basically broke his eardrum and fucked him up royally. So I mean, he knocked Sylvester the Stallone fuck out. I mean, you don't ask a guy like Dolph Lundgren to actually hit you as hard as he can.
I learned about telling people, yeah, just go as hard as you can. I'm fine. When I had this kind of big girl, she was giving me a massage over in Victorville, as a matter of fact, and she had some pretty strong hands for a female, and I was like, she's just a woman. I'll be all right. And let me tell you, I will never say that shit again. She did a
You
number
take that
on me.
shit back, right? Real quickly. Well, so KEP just voted for Darwin, so now Darwin's and True Empiricism are tied again. I don't understand, but what are you going to do, right? So somebody needs to make some sock accounts and get at least one more on Ronnie so he can be on the lead again. Because my title on the Hangout is Ronnie leads by 1. I'm not changing that, people. So somebody go vote for Ronnie. And if you don't know how to make a sock account, it's easy. Go to your YouTube account. Go to where's the little icon that says YouTube settings. It looks like a rotary cog next to Creator Studio. Click that. Go to Overview. Go to the bottom link where it says create new YouTube or see my channels or create a new channel. Follow the instructions. It's not that hard, and gives you a new brand account, right? So you don't even need a new email, right? You just use your existing account. You create a brand account under it. So just click that cog. Go to Overview, which is actually the first thing that pops up. Goes to Additional Features. See all my channels or create a new channel, and that's how you make a sock account. There you go. So come on, everybody who's listening, make one sock account. Everybody who's listening, make one sock account, and we can get Ronnie up there a little bit.
I haven't voted on my socks yet, but I will eventually.
Steve,
how many does that entail?
You should vote for that Max Brewer guy.
Who?
The one that called Hugh Ross a moron.
Oh, well, he's not running.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, and Wayne was just in here a few minutes ago. He's already reached out to Reasons to Believe again to see if they want to come on, sometime this month rather than next month. I'm thinking next month's still better because of the seasons.
Hugh has been milking that
I know.
interview.
I sent Fuzz a message, but he didn't see it. I sent it on Facebook. To kind of to tell him that we're not really putting someone in a hot seat. It's not really what we do.
Yeah, no, I know. But he's saying it just to.
I know,
and
they're allowed to embellish a little bit. I mean, that's probably how they interpreted it, right? I think they're actually being sincere about it. So I didn't really want them to get that kind of impression, but it's okay. But they still talk about it.
He's still gracious. Like he gave a Christmas message video a couple of weeks ago. Like you saw the one, I think.
Yeah. Where he pointed out, I think it was Helena's question. He likes that question
because that's for the past 5 years they've been trying to save up funds to actually develop a studio on site so that they can do that sort of thing. And so it just so happens that your show was one of their first proper interactions using their studio.
And they got to work pretty well. I mean, it went off without a hitch on their end. So their logistics was spot on.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's maybe minor little things, but I mean, for the most part, they really had it right. And practice makes perfect. And I think that once they realized that Google Hangouts might be a way to go, because he's all like, you don't have to go anywhere. You could do this right from the studio. This is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, this technology is not that new, Ross, but okay.
It just shows he's
He's just a little old. Like, give the guy a break.
Yeah,
He's a
Well,
little old.
Fuzz liked the
Yeah.
fact that I quit smoking for a year. He actually gave me a thumbs up on my Facebook. You know.
Yeah, I like him. He's a good guy.
I do like him. He's the kind of guy you can totally go out and have a beer with.
Yeah,
Totally.
that's the kind of that's why I kind of cringe when Ronnie and Gman, some of these other clowns, be like, "You guys hate Christians. You hate Christians." Like, no. What are you talking about? Fuzz is the kind of guy. Han Solo, Wayne, Jade, Fiona, like all Odian, all these folks are folks that I would want to live next to, and have a beer with and invite over to my house because I miss actually hosting parties. It does that. We can sit there and disagree and shoot the shit about like stupid stuff, but at the end of the day, there's no hostility.
You just hate agnostics. Because you would never invite me over because I'm one of those damn agnostic
fence sitters. Fuck you.
I know. See, once he hates me.
Drag, but civilian parties aren't like what they are in the army, dude.
Well, see, I kind of do miss army parties because you get to see people's wives naked. But oh wait, what? My wife just looked at me. No, there's some weird stuff that happens at that's pretty, dear. Like,
Army key parties.
Oh man, there's some weird stuff that comes like down the pike. Like there was a party that resulted in someone's squad leader's wife sucking off one of his subordinates, and he supposedly came down, saw it, and then just turned around and went back upstairs.
What?
Yeah, I probably would have done that too.
The dude was passed out drunk, by the way, so she actually like sexually assaulted him, and yeah.
And he didn't mind that.
Well, he gets drunk. Like when I say drunk, like he can't feel his face.
The husband didn't mind seeing her.
Well, the husband couldn't say anything because he couldn't control his wife. She was kind of like the alpha dog in the house.
That happens sometimes, yeah.
Hey, will somebody go to the Ronnie video and see what they get for a total? Because somebody said they voted, but I didn't see it move at all.
Well, yeah, I voted with like Tasty. I voted with Dragnot Sock and Arcane Phobos, and I didn't notice a big change.
Yeah, I'm not seeing these numbers move because I even used one sock in a video, and it didn't change, and then other times it has. So I don't know if it's not being counted or
weird.
But here, let me give it to you guys again. Here,
does it go by like IP?
No, it shouldn't. No, people have freaking tons of socks. Okay, here's the video for Ronnie to vote. Somebody go over there on the live feed. And let us know what you guys get for a total score. And if anybody wants in, let me know. That the link to join us is on the Google Plus page, my personal Google Plus page. You can go find it, or just ask in the live feed, and let me know if you want in. But somebody said they've been moving to remove sock accounts.
No.
Yeah, well, they do that every so often. Like they'll do that at the end of the month. I know they'll do a purge.
Purge.
Yeah. But it's not even at the end of the month. It's every so often they decide to do it. And I don't think it does it for like account, for the likes. I think it does it for the views, doesn't it?
I had 210 up and 35 down.
Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah, so 245. Yeah, Ronnie's so stupid he downloaded himself on that video. So, I don't know. Maybe they are purging socks. I don't know. It could be. Maybe socks are not as working for the thumbs up, thumbs down as they used to. But I mean, I'll tell you right now, I've thumbs up a vote twice just to see if it would work on a comment because I was wondering what was going on, and it only showed there's 2 comments, and I thumbed them both up twice from somebody, one on one account, one on another sock account, and only one of them stayed at 2. The other one remained at 1. So I don't know. So, yeah, I guess, I'll have to wait and see. But 245 is what I have for the total right now. He's tied with Dar's Deity at 245 as well. So, it's a tight race, man.
Well, no, I think Jaredism only won by 1 vote last year.
Did he?
I believe so.
Well, what I need to do is I need to appeal to the people that vote, and I don't know who they are because, again, I'm not big into the Flat Earth community, but the people that vote for Nature Hacker, Matt Slick, Crow, Anthony Riley, Pete Shea, Fuck It World, you guys need to change your vote, or at least vote for Ronnie in addition, especially like people who vote for Matt Slick. Come on, Matt Slick's got 43 votes per people. Yes, he's a. I don't think he's even a dumb fuck except for in science. I don't think he's in the same league as some of these other dumb fucks.
Oh no, he's a dumb fuck.
When it comes to science, and even philosophy, and probably, but I don't know. He's an arrogant guy. He's a prick, but I mean, he probably does know a lot.
I don't think he would have fallen.
He's got his master's in magic, and he just likes to sit there and bloviate because he can.
Somebody said the link I gave is for enlisted. No, yeah, it's enlisted, but that doesn't matter. You can still go there and see it.
At the same time, I don't think Matt Slick would have fallen for the daytime, nighttime video gag.
Probably not. No.
Oh yeah.
Daytime, nighttime, sexy. Yeah, all these videos are unlisted. So daytime, nighttime.
Yeah, the reason that the videos are unlisted is because if they were listed, people would flag them like they did the first year, and Red's channel would get taken down, which is what happened the first dumbfuck of the year. Because people get really butthurt because they're fucking morons.
Yeah, especially flat earthers. I mean, they are very, very sensitive.
Oh no, the first year it was Gman.
Yeah, Gman. Yeah, Gman probably did flag too. Speaking of which,
oh no, he admitted it.
Gman has Gman challenged you as well? Because I thought this was fucking hilarious on Ronnie's page that Vecco, of all people, Vecco wanted to get a piece of this. Vecco wants a piece of drag. I'm like, are you out of your motherfucking mind?
Well, this is not the first time he said that. Vecco has said before that I've infuriated him to the point that he wanted to, if he saw me in the street, he would break my glasses from punching me so hard. And I said, well, I'm not even joking. He said, well, he's since apologized for that, but that's something I really remember.
That's the Christian way, though. I mean, that's
yeah,
their Christianity, not true Christianity.
Well, I said, well, if he can reach it, then by all means. But I don't think he has the reach of the light.
These people got problems, man.
Well, to be fair, I did get under Veckel's skin. Like, I would purposely fuck with him.
At that point, I want to be violent with somebody on this fucking great debate shit.
No, I mean that was a point that kind of let me know that some of these guys really take this stuff personally. Like this is kind of who they are, and so you criticizing their arguments is in a way criticizing them, and it really didn't, dawn on me until you get someone threatening you with violence. To that degree.
Oh, if anyone wants to follow me on Twitter, by the way, which I haven't been using lately, I'm putting my Twitter feed in the live feed. That's my Twitter.
I already did.
You have Twitter? Go ahead and add me if you want. Because people say, "Oh, I don't get notifications of your when you have a hangout." And I'm like, "Well, I post it every time on Twitter, so you can't say that anymore."
Yeah, but no, I mean it's like with Arcane. Arcane went from being a presuppositionalist to being a guy who's just a douchebag. Because he's too stupid to actually argue anything. So the only thing he has is to be a dick on the internet and try and hurt people's feelings. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's literally all he has in life.
When you took away Arcane's voice for, like, as far as his arguments, he was done. Like, he used to kind of troll, but it was a kind of like, okay, you know what, this conversation not go anywhere, kind of fuck you kind of thing. Which happens to everybody, not a big deal. But then once a few people broke down the fact that he does not understand the Seitan-Brugengate argument, which Seitan-Brugengate gets fucking wrong, it was done. After that fucking point, it was all over.
I got a copy.
Until a year and a half ago, didn't know the difference between a noun and a verb.
They're making a collection of Ronnie faux pas in the live feed. So I got to copy this down because I wanted to keep my videos short last time, so I didn't get into all the shit that Ronnie did. But I mean, I may make another one where I start making a little bit more better pleas. So far we got pi, water breaking DNA, G-Rich sequences, humans are tetrahymena. I love that one. The people may not get that one. That one's actually funny because the hexamer for telomeric repeat is TTAGGG. I think everybody knows this by now. I've had it in videos. Hogtie has, been saying it. We all know by now what a telomeric repeat is. And Ronnie, in his brilliant infinite stupidity, saying, well, there's other types of telomeric repeats. Yes, but not for humans. And he had given a telomeric repeat, I think it was like TAAAG, somebody could correct me or not. I think it was TAAAG is one for tetrahymena. And, and pointing out to him, like, this is microorganism. That's not even for humans. Because he's looking at, when Ruhif was posting these, the sequence of that region, he's like, look at all those telomeric repeats. And Ruhif's like, what are you seeing? I'm not seeing what you're seeing here. G-rich sequences. 2000. By the way, can you still hear me? It's awfully quiet. I'm scared.
Yeah, no,
okay. Never gets quiet in here when I'm talking. Nobody ever lets me go for a minute. All right, so 2,000 degrees liquid water. That one's a good one too, because what did we figure out? That at 2,000 degrees Celsius liquid water, it'd have to be under pressure of how many gigapascal? I mean, most scientists use water. Yeah, this one. Most scientists use water in their aqueous solutions. That's fucking brilliant, Ronnie.
Oh, when he was on Gman versus the World, and Jason Burns was talking to me, and they were asking about the veritables, because it was a question that Jason Burns had about the likelihood of evolution or abiogenesis is one of the two, and I said, well, it depends on the variables that you have to work with, and Ronnie cuts in, the veritables don't matter, and I said, wait, the veritables? You mean variables? Yeah, the veritables. It's like, all right.
Hey, let's not forget about the inner solipsism of solipsism.
Yeah, including that Le Chatelier's principle.
Yeah, Le Chatelier's principle.
Le Chatelier's, he calls it. I do good calculus. Yeah.
Mary Schneider.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be what, Schweitzer?
27 gigapascals. Yeah, that's ridiculously high pressure.
Wasn't that Andrew Rappaport though?
Yeah, that was Andrew Rappaport with Mary Schneider.
The veritables. I don't even know how to try to.
He actually got it wrong twice. Someone corrected him Schweitzer, and then he said Schleicher or something.
Yeah. Oh, black people are photosynthetic. Thank you, doctor. That one's a really good one too.
Oh, I like that one. How could I forget that one?
I don't know how he worded it. He didn't actually come out and say that they're photosynthetic. He basically implied that black people get their energy from the sun, which
it was that they could synthesize something. Yeah.
It was probably UVA radiation, I believe.
I don't know. We're gonna just go with black people with photosynthetic. We don't have to be that accurate. This is for dumb fuck of the year. If we have to cheat and lie and steal, we're allowed to. Remember?
Drag, is that why you're always on cam without your shirt?
Exactly.
He's recharging.
I gotta get all that. Gotta protect my folate, my melanin, and whatnot.
It's like, okay, Fiona says like the 1680K protein.
It's supposed to.
But see,
that one
gets that one right. A handful of people are going to understand that. The rest don't even know what a kilodalton is. But I'm going to include it anyways. But
I have to say that G-Man's live call-in show kind of, if nomination wasn't closed already, I think that would merit him a nomination this year.
No, he's capped.
Yeah, he won too many times, so he's grandfathered out of it. Like, he's literally that good at being a dumb fuck that he can no longer get the prize. Good job, buddy.
Let's see here.
Everybody's got to be better at something than everyone else.
Yeah, he got really mad about that too.
They're asking the live feed. 1 kilodalton is equal to 1,000 AMU. So a Dalton would be equal to an atomic mass unit.
By the way, Steve, I joined the Facebook group Creationism, and I've been in it for 2 days, and I already have 3 different types of cancer.
Oh yeah!
I told you I'm telling you, man, it's pretty brutal over there. Those guys are not fucking smart. By the way, I knew what a Dalton was a long time ago. I've heard the term. We never used Dalton. These are atomic mass units. When an entire nuke school, it's only AMU. So if you don't know what a Dalton is, don't feel bad. It's British people tend to use Daltons more than AMU, I guess. Fuck the Brits.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of what else he had. It was DNA. He cycled between a few topics. There was something with abiogenesis that it was
Um,
not it
have
was not Le Chatelier.
have we mentioned sequential specified information?
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah, we can go there. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's a classic.
specified sequential information was only found one place. What was it called? Intelligent Design for Dummies.
The Complete Idiot's Guide to Intelligent Design.
Yeah, Complete Idiot's Guide to Intelligent Design. So one place that had it, and then he tried lying and saying that Cook actually said that when he didn't. You know. So I'm gonna write these down. Maybe if I make another video. Hopefully I won't have to. If people start voting for him. I mean, again, take your votes that you put for like Matt Slick and give them to Ronnie. People, come on.
Don't go with a loser. Go with a winner.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to go with a losing pony. Come on. And you're talking about that creationism forum. Paul Humber, literally, as you said that, just sent me an email. He likes to send me his little meme things that he makes. And this time, I'm telling you, he is the lowest of the low creationist anymore. I mean, I didn't realize he was so bad at shit. Now, in this particular meme that he's putting out, this little brochure he puts out, it's on. Yes, I'm not kidding here. It's the coelacanth. Yeah. So because we have found some coelacanth out there that we thought were extinct, then obviously that disproves evolution according to him.
Oh, you want lowest of the low, dude? Get Joe Sinkowski in here, man.
Which one's he?
Science Perception did a debate with like 3 debates with him. Like I guess it was 3 or 4 months ago, and then Alex Botten originally came to YouTube or G Plus over this guy on Twitter. Like I guess it was 3 or 4 years ago. Like he's been around forever. This is the guy that was still talking about polystrate trees.
Oh God.
And coelacanths and all kinds of dumb shit like with scientific perception like a couple months ago. Like he literally has no new arguments and he won't present evidence for fucking anything.
Well, I found that to be the typical thing. I mean, if you go to the creation forum, I mean, you ask any of them for actual evidence of anything, they just make another assertion. That's all.
I think my Dragnite profile is in the creationist group or creationism group on Facebook, and I remember looking through there one time and I was like, there's concentrated stupidity everywhere. Like there was a few like key players that just kind of kept cropping up, and they would make a comment and they would have a slew of responses and corrections, and they would go, well, you guys can't answer for yada yada yada, here we go, move the goalposts. And then it was I didn't even bother after a while, but this was some time ago, so it might have changed since then.
Joe Krzyzowski.
There you go, Steve, that guy.
Oh, yeah, I know who he is. He actually has engaged with Scientifica or Scienticia Presempia.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah,
Did,
I know who he is.
Fiona put in the side chat a little earlier about he thought that salt stabilizes DNA in water.
Oh, I gotta add that one. Yes.
Yeah,
right.
instead of like helping to precipitate it out.
Yeah.
Because I think I want to say he first said that in our conversation, and I asked him like, what kind of salt was it? He said, well, just sea salt.
So you add sea salt to water to get DNA to stabilize?
Well, the first time salt came up in the context of like nucleic acid was in our conversation, because he was saying that, well, first the salt would somehow interfere with it forming because of and I said, well, what kind of salt were you talking about? And we went back and forth because there's like tris, there's salt that's used in I want to say tris is used in not vaccines, but it's used in PCR. It's used in PCR. But he was talking about like brine, and I was trying to get him to like elaborate on what the hell he was talking about, but then it shifted to, oh well, no, you need salt for like stabilizing DNA in water. Well, Dude, I don't even fucking know anymore.
Hydroxylmethylamino-methane. You finally got a girlfriend.
Can we broadcast them?
I've been had a girlfriend.
You finally got a boyfriend. I mean, well, I don't know either or.
Oh God! Oh, I do really. But
Come shower us with your gifts. Come on.
oh, Anastasia emailed me, and Hugh and Fudge are free for the 21st and the 22nd of this month.
Really? Like right before Christmas?
Yep.
Well, I'm down.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
can
we'll
do
make
like
it a Christmas
special
episode.
on both.
Wait, let me see what the dates are for that. The 20. All right.
Yeah,
it's on a
21st
Friday.
and
You usually have them on Friday, but that's fine either or.
Steve,
Yeah,
you
you guys.
totally got both
Well, let me ask the Great Debate community. I mean, do you guys want to have them on this month or next month? Do you want to make it a Christmas type thing? And if we do, I want to have the format a little bit more, like the same thing we had, but maybe more along the lines of intelligent design to really go after them. And I mean, I'll let loose like Joe. I mean, obviously, like we have to like ramp it up little by little. I didn't want to have like the big guns like Joe Sonstein come in and just kind of like scare them off, or like Sam kind of like put them through the ringers the first time or two they're on. So now that they've been on a few, maybe we can like start asking a little more in-depth questions. But for example, Fuzz has this. I follow him on Twitter and Facebook, of course, and other things, and I do read what he writes. And he has this thing about DNA being optimal, an optimal storage medium. And I'm like, I don't understand what he means by optimal storage unit, because I was talking to Herman Mays, that PhD in zoology, and I was saying, well, how is it optimal when DNA gets transcribed? You have like the Okazaki fragments on the other side. They've got to like do this weird shit from the antisense end. It's got to ligase this shit together. It's got to do all this convoluted shit to make transcription work. I don't think that's optimal. I think it looks more like this was haphazardly the way it is now because nature had to make use of what it had, and this is the best way that it found to do it. But I don't think it's anything that's optimal about it. Matter of fact, Fiona can correct me if I'm wrong, or Isaiah, aren't there bacteria that can actually do RNA polymerase from both directions? That doesn't have to do like the leading and lagging edge, where you have continual translation on the leading, and then you have on the lagging, you have the fragments. Isn't it like the bacteria that can do it on both? Or anybody?
I'm not sure about bacteria.
Fiona, if Fiona's in the live feed, but anyways, I was like, I don't. Oh, I'm sorry, not transcription, DNA replication. Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean transcription. But when you have the DNA polymerase, with the DNA replication, isn't there some bacteria that can do it from both sides rather than having to use the Okazaki fragments? Because I think it's an amazing mechanism. Don't get me wrong, but with Fiona, would you call it optimal? Optimal to me seems like it's something that's working extremely well, efficiently, using the least amount of enzymes and parts and things. And I don't look at DNA replication and look and go, oh, it seems optimal.
Yeah, Steve, it's actually in relation to his book, The Cell's Design.
The Cell's Design, right.
Right.
That's what I'm referring to.
I actually was reading all the reviews a few weeks ago, and I don't know if you can see this, I'm just sharing my screen. In chapter 9, so this reviewer, it surprised me. I was expecting less. So I don't know, because that's the thing. I haven't studied biochemistry, so this is language that Fiona will understand. But so error minimization, the coding strategy of DNA is optimal for minimization of transcription errors. And computer simulations show that the strategy life currently employs is precisely the right one.
What do they mean by, as Fiona points out, what do we mean optimal as compared to what? I mean, there's obviously needs to be some mutations, but there can't be too much, because then you get into problems with genetic load. But there's like a handful of unique mutations. If you didn't have mutations, you couldn't have evolution. Obviously, you couldn't evolve. I mean, that's just the gist of it. So I mean, I don't know what he means by there's an optimal amount compared to what would be an optimal system. Like, for example, in a heat engine, the optimal system, the theoretical optimal engine is a Carnot efficiency, right? So Carnot engine is the most efficient theoretical maximum you can have for a heat engine. Okay, so when you say it's optimized, you say a portion of optimization in relationship to a Carnot engine. How did they do that with DNA? What is it optimized to?
I see. Okay.
So that's a good question. You got to ask them to get there. What day? 21st, 22nd, guys.
Yeah, you either or.
All right, cool. All right, I'll let her know.
And have her contact me as well, so I can set it up on my end.
So what this reviewer says, he says, like, is this the equivalent of what you're getting at? So Darwin might argue, well, Darwin in the sense of methodological naturalism, evolution, might argue that nature would simply explore several possible coding strategies over time, gradually converging by natural selection to the most optimal. However,
well, I mean, again, most optimal to what? I mean, it's optimal as far as like natural selection has optimized it to the best possible, maybe for the given conditions. I mean, survival of the fittest kind of thing. But I don't know if I wouldn't call it an optimal system. I mean, even Fiona points out, well, if it's optimal, you want to have cancers or cystic fibrosis. You want to have lesions that can form in the DNA that can become carcinogenic.
Right. I
see. The pyrimidine dimer.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, I mean, I think what we have to do is we have to like pick out a specific topic.
Yeah.
And because that's what I mean. When Wayne gets a hold of them, I mean, we need to come up with a specific topic. I don't know when he's going to like write her back or if he already has. I was going to ask Wayne something of importance. I forgot it. Damn it.
No, I didn't write it back yet. So I'm writing and I'm listening to you guys too. So
yeah, I've got something to tell you about that, but I forgot what the hell I got to tell you, and I thought it was important. Well, anyways, like I said, just make sure you add me on it so I can talk to her.
All right, I got you. I'm gonna make a carbon copy.
Well, was she happy to hear from you?
Yeah, she I think she remembers me.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. I'm sure she does.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let us know how that works.
Wait.
Pick a day.
Ask. Wait. What have you decided already on the topic? Like, are you writing that to her?
No. So what topic do you guys want to talk about?
Well, I'm gonna have to get back to you on
definitely. Take it from me because I've been reading the text. All of what Fuzz has been saying, because definitely I want to get Fuzz involved with what you've just been talking about. Mm-hmm. But literally in a wrapped up sense, Hugh's latest book, Improbable Planet, literally, takes everything into account: intelligent design, physics, geophysics, biology, like literally everything. And maybe we can talk about that book if you want. It's just an idea.
Well, I haven't read it though.
Well, I'll tell you
what. I do
got
a handful of people that would like to join us, though. I do know an astrophysicist from Facebook, from the Creationist group, that would join us. So
Neil Tyson
and King Crocoduck would probably want to.
Neil Tyson
before.
Is it Neil Tyson?
Let me. No, it's not Neil Tyson.
I knew Neil Tyson too, but I lost contact with him.
No.
There might be a way I can reach back out to him. I'll get back to you on that, Dre. But I definitely know somebody who knows him personally.
Hey,
what are the 2 dates? The 21st, the 22nd?
Yeah, 21st and 22nd.
Let's get Silly Samson in here. Gman has expressed an interest in talking to him, so I'm curious.
One sec.
Maybe Origin of Life would be a very good topic because they've just re-released their 2004 book, The Origins of Life. They've revised it, and maybe you can have a conversation.
Well, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to ask the people that want to like be in the thing. I'm just gonna be moderating because I'm way out of this element. But I mean, if this would be something that I'll have to ask with Fiona, Joe, the people that want to engage with them. So just keep it open for right now. Say Wayne, write her back just to pick a date. But let her know. We'll get her a topic, a more
Yeah.
specific topic in a day or so. Because I don't want to give out a topic where it's not going to be like a good topic, right?
And it'll be professional as always compared to the young Earth creations we've had on.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know what? Ben did okay. I mean, Ben wasn't as bad as most.
Nah, Ben was a little bit too
I mean,
obnoxious.
no, but I'm just saying. I'm not. No, what I'm saying though is at least Ben tried. Ben really at least tried. He looked at was going through the data. He actually tried using some of the data sites. That's more than any other person has done so far.
Right, I agree.
You know, was he wrong? Yes, but he had tried. I can't get Silly in here. I don't know what the hell's going on. He doesn't
So wait,
come up for me.
did he then concede the point state, or was he
Ben?
still?
No, but he was willing to investigate certain things. I haven't really talked to him since then. I've said a couple words to him in passing, but I'll send him a message tonight, seeing what he's looked into. He's supposed to talk to Tompkins, right? And Tompkins said he would join us in January. So.
That would be very interesting.
Oh yeah, Ruhif would really like that. I'm doing this. I'm doing this to make sure that Ruhif, whatever I get Tompkins, that Ruhif is available. Because I really would like to get them together. I mean, Ruhif's done so much for me that at the least I can do.
What
get this
is
to work out.
happening with Ruhif? Is he suffering with what?
Oh yeah, well I guess it's out there now. He has
Booty cancer.
leukemia.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've already talked to him, and he said that if people know by now, it's fine to be discussed.
I definitely thought it was booty cancer.
Yeah, he gets too much booty. Yeah, and the man's
Happens.
a booty king.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, he's
What time are
he's
you-
doing well. He's had some chemo. He's taken chemo the other day. He was in the hospital, taking his chemo and broadcasting from his room.
Is he doing all right? Like, is it
Yeah,
prognosis?
he's doing better. He's lost a shit ton of kilograms though. I mean, he's got like raccoon eyes. Hey, Silly, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the link in the live feed. I don't think I've got any trolls out there right now. If I do, well, I'll just have to manage them.
No such thing as too much booty.
So real quickly, go ahead and take the link. Silly, come on in.
Say that.
Everybody else take the link to come in. I'm gonna leave it
You
up
say
for,
that with
for
Isaiah
15
in the room.
seconds, and then I'm gonna take it down. So come on in. No such thing as too much booty.
I still don't believe some of these women are real.
Head is. Do you guys want to head is like around like 4 or like around like 11 or something like that? Or, I guess
that?
11 in the morning, early afternoon.
All right, Silly, take the link. Hurry up. I'm deleting it from the live feed.
This man seemed really interesting talking to Silly, so I want to know what Silly has to offer. I'm G-Man's
I removed it, so
arbiter.
Or not.
I'm his intellectual arbiter.
Oh, it won't let me remove it. Oh, that's just brilliant.
Now you better hope fucking Beasley doesn't get it, because he.
I know, but he doesn't watch
bitch.
my shit.
Fucking stupid ass Australian bitch. No offense.
Yeah, he doesn't watch my stuff.
Oh great! Now my son is saying that. Oh great.
Oh, okay. Silly, I got your message on YouTube. I will link it to you there too, since I can't remove it on the live feed for some reason. Sometimes it doesn't. Your controls doesn't work on the live feed. It's been that way for a long time. I can't even ban somebody sometimes.
Ooh, that's not good.
I can go see if I can remove it. Give me a sec.
I don't think you can ruin my comment.
You did give me a spanner. I can look.
You have a spanner. Oh yeah, it was retracted. Thank you guys. Okay. Don't you have a spanner? You should have a spanner.
I was saying I have a spanner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, did he come in? No, he still hasn't come in yet. Oh, there he is. Okay. Hey, Silly, welcome. What's up, buddy? What's the dealio?
Yeah, does he have his mic together?
You want to say?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, bud.
Hey, I really don't do this whole hangout thing all that often. I mean, honestly, I'm a little bit shocked that I got called out. So, what's up, everybody?
What up? What up?
Yeah, hey, you're in the great debate now. Too late. Can't retract it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't turn around. And I mean, I'll be honest, the exact words that I would use to describe this whole situation is that I pretty much just picked a fight with G-Man.
Well, let me tell you, man, it's going to be more headache than it's worth. Trust me, I have years of experience.
You know, it's already more headache than it's worth, but at the same time, I put it out there. I'm already all in, and I'm not about to turn around because, well, I mean, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not going to be a pussy, to be frank about it.
Well, I mean, you do realize that G-Man's just looking for attention, right? I mean, all he is an attention whore. He doesn't. I don't even know he has any real positions of his own.
Oh, I mean, I realize that, but at the same time, I mean, I'm pretty much just an attention whore. I mean, I like to make videos here every now and then that I feel are making a point, but I'm also kind of pretty trolly at times, you know? I mean, let's be honest about it.
Oh, I should note real quick. Never
Yeah.
forget. The day is obviously December 7th. Does anybody that ring ring to anybody? Does anybody know what happened today? 75 years ago.
I know what happened then, and I know what happened more recently. So yeah.
Well, are you talking about the people that went to go visit the Pearl Harbor? The two remaining.
Well, there's
Eyewitnesses?
there's that. It's my brother's birthday, and it's Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah. So December 7th, 1941, around 8 a.m., the Japanese came over and bombed Pearl Harbor, taking out a huge chunk of our fleet. It was a surprise attack. That actually got us into that part of the war over there, and we really retaliated with them. So, I mean, they've learned don't do that. But anyway, so there's a day that I live in infamy, so people don't know what the day is, then you should learn your history a little bit.
And now that we've gone off to that side, let's go back. Let's go back outside.
Yeah, I got to throw that out there. Fitz had brought that up, and I think that is pretty important to remember those things.
It is. I'll agree with you there. But
Much more
back
important
on
than
the
fucking
topic.
G-Man, man. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
Definitely.
Again, I
But
don't even
speaking
talk
of
about
G-Man-
G-Man in my Hangouts that much. It's been recently
yeah.
it's been happening.
If we're going to speak about him, just remember that he's not really worth time. So if you're going to spend invest time making a video towards him, you might as well just do it for the lulz or to troll, because there's not a point in being serious about it. It's not worth it. He's not going to listen to you anyways.
No. I mean, how many videos do I have of him not listening?
Well, no. I mean, he's not going to listen, obviously. But the way that I see this kind of playing out personally is I am going to debate him on this crazy argument that he's been making lately that, like, oh, you're not an atheist because you believe in, like, the sun, right? And there are hippies that believe that the sun is God. So you obviously believe in the God. You're not an atheist. Ha, ha, ha. And my whole argument is just like, what's the point of this, man? It's a wild goose chase. This is really just getting away from the point. This has nothing to do with the debate that we have been having for so long here on YouTube. That's my whole thing. And once I do that, obviously, he's going to make a YouTube video in response. Oh, I owned him. I totally ripped this guy apart. But after a little while, he'll drop off that whole argument if I did a good job, and then we get to see a whole new G-Man argument. And I'm really looking forward to a new G-Man argument. I can't lie. I cannot lie.
This is a guy who thinks he can make himself immune to logical fallacies.
Unfortunately, that's a really good summation of G-Man. Like, rather than saying I need to reevaluate my positions, I will simply make myself immune to logic. That the second I heard that, I knew I was dealing with a fucking idiot. Like, there's no excuse in any type of context and any amount of nuance that you can apply to that statement. I'm sorry, there's not.
No, man. I mean, there's really not. I mean, the whole chocolate atheist thing was just a beautiful time. And I mean, it's obvious that he really does not understand, like, the concept of what a fallacy actually is.
No,
I
he
mean, I
doesn't.
can't argue that. That's just true.
No, I mean he'll tell you he understands, but I think certain ones, someone sat him down and kind of explained to him. But if you, he still has a hard time trying to reconcile how he thinks with how one should be thinking, as far as being, as far as just being logical. He's in somewhere in his fucked up head has made a determination that there's nothing wrong with the fallacious way of thinking, and so he'll just try and find a way to circumvent it.
That's not too uncommon. I've actually had people give fallacious arguments, and they're like, "Yeah, so what?" I'm like, "So you know it's a fallacy, and you're promoting it anyways. You're irrational by definition. If you're going to follow a fallacy, then you cannot be a rational thinker. You can't call yourself a rational thinker and promote something you know to be a fallacy. That's just nonsensical to me. By the way, Darwin's and true and tired again, people. 246. God. Like one person votes for Darwin, and then a person votes for true, and then you guys are killing me here.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, but
sorry, I
no,
didn't
go
mean
ahead,
to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, it's the sad truth that there are just some people that really cannot wrap their minds around how to critically think. And I mean, I really don't like to say that, but there are just some stupid people out there. And I'm not necessarily saying the G-Man is a stupid person, per se. I mean, over time, I mean, you can look at the guy and tell, like, the arguments that we've been using on him, he's kind of, at least half-assed, learned to turn them around on us. So he's learning something very slowly. And I mean, if you got to beat it into the guy's head, I mean, I'd say it's worth it, just because, like, really, I don't think the G-Man's necessarily all that bad a guy all around. Probably just a little crazy here on YouTube. But I don't know. I mean, I tend to give him credit that he's not horrible, and sometimes I think that we probably shouldn't troll him so hard. I mean, earlier, whenever somebody said, like, why make a video towards G-Man if it's not for the lulz or for entertainment? I mean,
I'm turning you up, by the way, Tilly.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was low, and I turned it up.
All right, thank you. I mean, I'm just saying, like, the guy never treated me necessarily bad personally right off, so why not treat him with respect back to a certain extent? I mean, yeah.
Give it time.
Yeah. Hey,
I mean, the guy can't even get my theological position correct. I mean, for God's sake. I mean, that's just dumb fuckery. I mean, I'm never going to say that G-Man isn't a theist. You know, if I went around saying, well, G-Man's an atheist, then of course I'm not being true. I'm promoting misinformation, and yet he has no problem doing that. He's like, oh, Steve's an atheist. No, I'm not. In fact, I had a really kind of interesting, bitter discussion with Honest Abe, who I thought I got along with, but I guess I don't. Trying to explain to him, about positive atheism is a belief. And he, of course, is the YouTube type person who's never even opened a book. And it's like, no, atheism is not a belief. Well, yes, people, listen to me carefully. If you are a positive atheist and you say, I don't believe in God, or I believe God does not exist, you are making a doxastic claim. That is a belief. I don't know why some people are so weirded out by that. Who cares? It's a belief. It's a belief of your theological position of God's existence. I mean, when an atheist says, atheism isn't a belief, the fuck it's not. Stop saying that, people. Especially if you're a positive atheist. A positive atheist is an assertion that God does not exist. That is a belief that supposedly comports with reality. You're giving your position, what you think is reality. That's your belief claim. It's so freaking annoying when these people are like, oh, Steve, you're wrong. No, I'm not. I guarantee
Well,
it.
that's because belief became a dirty word early on, very, very early on.
I know, and people need to take it back because it's so annoying.
Yeah, it's kind of the reason you'll see Spoken say, oh, well, that's just your belief. Well, because now he understands it to be somewhat of a pejorative. And I say, okay, well, what do you mean just a belief? Well, you can have justifiable and unjustified, beliefs. So which ones are you talking about? And so he doesn't know how to handle that. And so when I go down that route, he's then forced to acknowledge that certain beliefs are justifiable and certain ones are not. So that's a new category that he first didn't account for. And
yeah, everybody has beliefs. As you said, I mean, a rational thinker can justify them. An irrational thinker can't, except for properly based beliefs, obviously. And they can, I guess, they can be justified using non-doxastic type reasoning. But you cannot justify a properly basic belief, dostastically. So, and when Nathan says, "I believe there's no God." Yes, that's a belief. We all agree upon that. Now, people can argue, "I don't believe there's a God." He says it's not. I personally believe that if you say, "I don't believe there's a God," that is a belief claim. That is my position. If other people don't want to agree with that, that's fine. I can see it kind of from either position. But if you say, "I believe there is no God," that is a belief, period. And we were arguing not just about atheism. I was arguing about specifically positive atheism. I'm like, if you are a positive atheist, you are making a belief claim. There is no other way to look at it. If you're a negative atheist, you can look at it either way. I get that. I just personally think that I don't believe that there's a God is just another way of rewording it propositionally. And it is a belief. But that's just, like I said, that's just me. But for somebody to say that positive atheist is not making a claim, a positive atheist doesn't have a belief, then that's just fucking dumb fuckery, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, man, 100%. I mean, it's one thing to say, like, hey, there may not be a God. I personally don't believe that there's a God. But by saying that, you are, at least on a very soft level, saying that you hold the belief that there is no God. Now, me personally, I would go as far as to say that there is no God just based on his own definition in the Bible, the Christian God specifically. Like, you look at it, and this guy is supposed to be all-knowing, and it doesn't take very long. I mean, you just read into Genesis a little bit, and suddenly there are goats being bred in front of sticks to give them stripes, and you go a little bit further, and God puts up the firmament, and it's like, what the hell? This isn't how meteorology works. I mean, obviously, this being is not all intelligent. He doesn't know anything beyond what people of that age knew.
Well,
You know,
I
he's so
understand
smart.
that reasoning. I don't know if I'd make that argument, though, because the what was written in the Bible, somebody could make the argument. Again, it depends on your belief system, but you can make the argument that much of that stuff was written by the people at the time, and it wasn't God telling them that this was the way it would be. Of course, it's hard to make that argument, but somebody could actually do it. Because most people believe that the whole Bible is inspired by God, not written by God, but inspired by God. But you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of things in the Bible that just don't make sense scientifically. Sure.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're general. He seems to be able to make everything scientific out of the Bible.
And I mean, like really, I look at it and I kind of wonder, like, supposedly in the Bible, God takes enough time to give us the commandments. He, even inspired or not, supposedly there are specific rules and laws that God has us follow because He finds them very important to, our survival, our life, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, if God was so smart, why couldn't He, like, tell us about germ theory? And, like, I get that some people may say, like, oh, the people back then, said, like, hey, they wouldn't understand germ theory. They would not get it if you went back and tried to tell them about microscopic life forms. This is possible, but at the same time, I mean, God doesn't really give a whole lot of reasoning behind a lot of the rules that He gives us, a lot of the things that He tells us to do and why. I mean, there's not a lot of communication, so just as easily as God says, thou shalt not kill, why could God just not say, thou shalt use soap? You know what I'm saying?
Wash your hands. Wash your ass crack.
Well, see, the thing is, you can't start making too many assumptions about what God would do, because then the common rebuttal is that you know the mind of God, and you're trying to impose your human limited mortal understanding of the universe.
God obviously gave us the ability to do that.
Yeah, and so that's
God
not
wanted
our
us to ask
place
questions,
to do
but He
that.
wouldn't given us the ability to ask questions.
Yeah, I mean, I've hit that wall a lot, to be honest.
And so what I've started doing is trying to avoid getting to, okay, well, I think God should do this, because I can go, well, it's at least easier for me to say, I understand that you have these sets of beliefs, but for me, I reject the God idea, or the God, whatever, because I tend to require empirical evidence for believing a claim. And since what you're claiming is supernatural, science really can't touch on that. So I reject it up until there's some way, to justify this belief other than someone's personal anecdotes.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I mean, obviously, I mean, if I have more evidence, I'll evaluate it. I will make the claim that like the young Earth God doesn't exist. I've said that multiple times. I assert, positively speaking, that that particular God, if that is what people are saying, that the God was created God created the Earth 7,000 years ago, and the Earth is 7,000 years old. If that's what you want to attach to that God does not exist. Period. End of story. Okay, I'm not going
Yeah.
to make that same claim as far as like Yahweh and the God of Isaac, Abraham, and Joseph. Whoever the hell that is, but they are. But you
Jacob.
know, Jacob, yeah, Jacob, yeah. I knew it wasn't Joseph; it was Jacob, yeah. But when I say that, I'm basing the fact that if you want to say that all this evidence is wrong, then to me that God either doesn't exist or he's a trickster God, and that can't be in relationship to the Christianic version of God, right? God's not a trickster God, except for like one case he sends illusions to people, but I don't think that God would exist. So I would assert that the young Earth creation God does not exist.
Well, it's like what Silly Samson was saying. When we look at Genesis, you don't have to get as far as goats being bred in front of like sticks. If you look at the order of creation, you can go, okay, well, we have planets before stars. Well, we know that's wrong because we live on a rocky planet, and the elements that make up our planet came from the fucking stars. So if there are planets before stars, that's fucking wrong.
Yeah, there's some errors there. There's no question. Even
And
I think General had a problem reconciling one thing or other. But yeah, where do they think all these heavy other elements come from? I mean, I mean, we can show that hypernovas, when they go boom, are stellar plethora of elements, right? I mean, they produce all kinds of heavy elements. What other scientific way do they have to come up with where these heavier elements come from? What does uranium come from? Plutonium, neptunium?
Man.
Where do these things come from?
Well, it's one of the things that pisses me off about Nephilim Free is because he says, where can we see in a museum, the things that get more complex, where we can go back and look and say, hey, look, there's another level of complexity. And I'm like, we can't see it in a museum, Neff, but look at a fucking star sometime, asshole.
Yeah, actually, I should have said neptunium. Now that I think about it, that's actually element 93. That's actually transuranic, but that's actually something that they produced later on. But so it's not a naturally occurring thing. But I corrected myself before somebody caught that. I thought about that. I'm like, okay, wait a minute here. No, but yeah, I mean that's where these things come from. That's where the elements come from. Are stellar nurseries. I mean, when these stars go kaboom, I mean, they release a hell of a lot of energy. In fact, I was looking at one star. It's oh my god, it's like
Delta Gamma
08.
22587.
No, it was 280616C or something, but it was a gamma ray burst like that, yeah. And it had put out like 8.8 times 10 to the 57 ergs or something. Holy shit, that's a lot of energy. That was something like they said it was the equivalent to a billion czar bombs. Literally a czar bomb going off every second for 100 billion years. And the czar bomb had a yield of 54 megaton. It was the largest detonation on Earth of a nuclear weapon. It had a yield possibility of 100 megatons, but it was literally almost half, a little bit over half that. Yeah, can you imagine like that's the size of something like the czar bomb going off every second for 100 billion years? That's how much energy released by these gamma ray bursts. That's fucking unreal, man.
It really makes you feel small, I mean, you think about it.
Well, I got a small dick, so I'm used to that.
Oh man, that's TMI. I mean, I sympathize,
share.
but I don't need to know that.
Yeah. Let's see here. C. Brown's back. What is C writing about now? He just wrote something. I got to read this real quick. Somebody explain to me C. Brown's argument still. He keeps on talking about het ITS. There is no het ITS in humans. So why is this even an argument? Again, Isaiah, help me out here. Is he even in here anymore? Isaiah. He comes in, then just sits and leaves. He's like a packing peanut. Yeah, oh well.
Fuck you, Isaiah.
Fuck you, Isaiah. Go vote for Ronnie. Like I said, I've reached out.
No, he's in the side chat, so I just don't think his mic's working.
He's over there looking at BOTTY.
That last picture you linked was actually pretty good.
Like I said, I've reached out to the King Crocoduck. I reached out to Skylar. I reached out to Dave S. I reached out to a guy named Jason who has a lot of followers. I mean, I reached out to a lot of people. I haven't heard one from anybody back yet that they want to help out with campaigning.
But anytime you say, hey, C. Brown's back, what's he got to say? My answer is usually nothing relevant.
Oh yeah, I'm like looking at what he just wrote, and it's just like, what the hell?
I will take this moment right now to personally give my endorsement for True Empiricism for Dumb Fuck of the Year.
Yay!
Not just to vote for True Empiricism, but to show every single person who is an evolutionist, like an evolution denier, that you are honestly a dumb fuck. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not as bad as a flat earther, but it's definitely up there. I mean, it's hard to really have with a straight face say that a flat earther isn't the dumb fucks of the dumb fucks. They are king of dumb fucks. You've got to be so goddamn stupid to think the Earth is flat to the point of it being comical. But an evolutionist denier, I think a lot of them are just uninformed. I think they've been indoctrinated, and they might actually be good at other things, but they suck when it comes to like basic biology. But
well, I mean, me personally, I blame the fact that there are a lot of people out there that just do not have a basic understanding of exactly how science works, how the scientific method is applied, and how it has different standards depending on what field that you're in.
It's so funny because go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't have anything more to say. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. These people that are against evolution, they're coming from it from an indoctrinated and a religious point of view, right? And most of them really do not know the difference between like evolutionary theory and common descent. When a gene is, they really don't get any of this stuff, and that's why when we're talking to them on the creationist forums, I feel like I'm explaining the same shit 1,000 times, right? Again, I don't have any great in-depth knowledge of biology either, but I know the basics, just like I think anybody with a decent first or second year college level biology courses should know. I mean, I had lab and all that shit. I did my little agar petri dish stuff as well. And I don't think any of them have ever stopped to think, that they might be wrong. No matter how many times people tell them that, no, you've got this wrong. It's not Pokemon evolution. It's not this, not that. I don't think any of them, besides maybe a handful, Wayne did, but most of them don't, and Isaiah did too, because he used to be a young earther. But the rest, they don't stop and go, oh shit, maybe I learned this wrong. Maybe the people telling me misinformation.
I have my GED, and I have what I've learned here from people who are nice enough to like actually sit down and explain shit, like Fiona and Hogtie and Sam. And that's what I've got, and I understand this shit.
Yeah, I mean, because you're not stupid. I mean, you're an intelligent guy, so you could pick this stuff up. You don't have to have the formal education. You were smart enough to go, okay, if these people explain it to me in a very simplistic way, I can get it.
They said it best on Futurama, the way it is with most of these people. It's, I don't understand evolution, and I need to protect my kids from understanding it too.
That's actually a really good explanation.
That is really good. I don't want my kids brought up with this evolution stuff. Well, I figured this out. When some people hear the word evolution, what comes to mind is that they think humans somehow crawled out of like the muck, and all of a sudden had like fish, and then you had like a chimpanzee, then a chimpanzee evolved to a human. That's in their mind what they think is some kind of linear change of morphology. Basically when they say intelligent evolutionary theory, they think that evolutionary theory is how humans came to be. Well, I bet if you asked them, if you asked any of them, I said, look at it, if humans never existed, what would evolutionary theory be comprised of? And they'd be like, well, you wouldn't need an evolutionary theory. Watch, I bet you. I've never thought about that before. Next time somebody runs across somebody who doesn't know shit about evolution, ask them, if humans never existed, what would evolutionary theory be about? And if they said, well, you wouldn't need evolutionary theory, then they don't understand evolutionary theory, right? Does it make sense?
Yeah. No, I think that's actually an interesting line of argumentation to use, because I haven't thought about going about it that way. But it just came to me, so maybe we should try that out.
I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. I mean, you think about it. How many times have you heard somebody in response to an evolutionary argument that you've made before, respond by saying, well, if evolution is true, then why are there still monkeys?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
exactly. I mean,
it's
those are the
obvious.
people that obviously don't get it.
Right, like in their mind, the human being as we are right now is the end goal. We are the be all end all. We are what evolution was for, and not the idea that evolution is for whatever species just happens to propagate really well. That's why there are still monkeys, because they can still go out there and do the thing, you know?
And I guess they're monkeys right now, and certain types of chimps are they're actually in the Stone Age right now. So I mean, a million years from now, we might be an extinct species, and then whatever they have diverged into might be the predominant species on the planet.
Are you talking about old world or new world?
New World.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
No, wait, Old World. I'm sorry, Old World monkeys. Circopithidea would be the Old World monkeys that are actually starting to be in the Stone Age.
Well, that makes
Because
sense.
we're not in Circopithidea, we're not in that clade. We're sister clade to it.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, actually, I have heard that. I think it's the same group that they said they thought they're forming some type of religion because they keep going a certain time of day and hitting this tree, and it seems like there's no real reason for it. But then random members of that little group is just doing it. So
It might be. I mean, like I said, if we had a time machine and go million years in the future, I mean, I have no doubt some other species would be prevalent. I hate to break it to people, but humans are dying out, guys. And one of the reasons we're dying out is that, and I don't mean to be like alarmist, but what's happening is that because we have cesarean section so much, that women that have very small, narrow birth canals are now reproducing, and normally they would die in childbirth and not pass that on to their children. So because of evolution, women are literally having smaller and smaller birth canals. So 100,000 years from now, or even less, could be 10,000 to 20,000 years from now, women may not be able to give birth naturally. So we will have to have artificial ways of delivering babies from now into eternity at some point, and that might be difficult. It might lead to the extinction type things.
was there an article about that recently?
Yeah, but I've been saying that for a long time. But yeah, there was something in the news just recent about that. But I brought that up in the past.
I don't know. My wife
natural
would probably
childbirth.
died in childbirth giving birth to my son. More than likely.
They put a thread up for that up in the creationism group just today, I think.
But they don't get it. That is evolution in action.
Oh yeah, and it's such a simple and obvious example, and they're like, well, no, natural selection is creationism too, and I'm like, dude, now I have leukemia. Thank you.
I don't know how they keep on saying that. I mean, okay, that's one thing about creationism. Is anything you say can fit creation, as it seems. But natural selection, I don't know how they get that into the creationist model. I mean, when we look at like the peppered moths, which was directional selection, we can actually see how the environment has affected the coloration, right? Shifting from a lighter to darker because of the environment. That's called directional selection. And then that isn't. I mean, it's an example of evolution. Don't get me wrong, but they don't seem to understand it's a perfect example of natural selection. And then they try to falsify that with misinformation. And by the way, Drag, do you want to do a hangout one day on stabilizing directional and diversification selection, or diversifying selection one day?
Yeah,
I might be interested in that.
I still have my PowerPoints on that.
Yeah, I know you just touched on it in your class, and I haven't really studied that. I mean, I remember doing it in college a long time ago. I could probably tell you the minor differences. Stabilizing is if, for example, let me see if I get these right. Stabilizing selection would be if you have like a color and that color gets more predominant, so the average color becomes the more predominant color in that population, so the curve moves over. Directional would mean that you have one color becoming more of a different color. In the middle of the curve just moves over, and then the diversification, you have like one neutral color becoming two different colors, being more diversifying. In a nutshell. I mean, that's probably a horrible explanation, but
yeah,
I mean, I think it'd be
to use
interesting.
size. I like to use the size as a better one. Oh, broadcast pseudonym.
I got you, buddy. So,
Like for directional, I like to use the example of horses. Like the horse breeds that we have are huge compared to what's in the past, because they have been selected mostly by humans to be a larger size. And actually, I found. Oh man, I just picked a random PowerPoint.
Would dogs be diversifying selection then?
Dogs, it depends on
Well,
the
I mean, it's
breed,
artificial selections. That's actually
Yeah.
another type of selection, but it's not natural selection. But
You would say that, yeah, that for I would say almost all dogs actually it would be directional because there were certain traits that we were trying to select for. So if you actually look here, this is the directional evolution of modern horses.
let's present you real quick.
I actually guessed in out of like 20 PowerPoints, it was that one.
So smalling going to large or lighter going to darker.
Yeah, you
Same
would say
principle.
there's
So directional selection, something that the average is moving over to shifting to the right, moving the entire average of the curve over to the right.
right. So
Yeah.
let me see if I can find.
Greg, I just have a question.
What's up?
When you say, when your little diagram here, I know you didn't make this, but when it says modern horse, is that pre-domestication or post-domestication?
That's pre. The one that we have now, the PowerPoint that I have up now is post.
Okay, so when it says modern horse, that would be the horse after we've domesticated them.
Yeah, this is the one at the bottom. This is modern horse. That's the one that we got a hold of.
Right. Okay.
And you can see that the average body size over time has increased, and therefore the entire curve has shifted over, changing the
Right,
average.
but what I'm getting at is once we domesticate them, then we are influencing the traits that we want,
Correct. But
including body size.
here's what happened. Check this out. So this is when we, like in the early 1900s, where we first started doing that. Exactly what you described.
Yeah.
But then you look at the performance when we start really weeding out, the undesirables and the ones that were, supposedly had the superior genetic makeup. Then you see this decline, and so then it plateaus because you've effectively removed so much variation from the gene pool that now this is the standard, and that's it. You effectively bottlenecked, the entire population.
I would
Good
think
old
on the
humans.
directional selection, do you have less biodiversity than you have on a diversifying selection? Because it would appear that on diversifying selection, you have a lot more different variety, like different sizes or different colors.
Hold on.
Different,
Hold on.
because
Okay.
because the diversifying looks like it's like just like the directional, only opposite. It's like the inverse.
Hold on. I didn't know you guys couldn't see this other
Yeah, I'm looking at
this
your
other
thing right
slide. You see the chart?
Mhm.
Okay, because it wasn't showing up earlier. There we go.
Selection for increased speed and racehorses is no longer effective.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, that one.
So
Trying to make sure it's showing up
they've
in
maxed
chat.
out on it.
Yeah, so that's the plateau. And so you see, from 1920s to like the 1950s, there was a steep decline in performance, and then it kind of went up, but then it's mostly plateauing now, and that's due to the fact that we've put them now in this genetic box, and they don't have enough variety to really do anything else.
Would that be now? Would they be more like stabilized then, at that level?
Hold on for a second.
I mean, you couldn't breed them. There's nothing to breed into them anymore to increase their speed. There's not enough genetic randomness, would there be?
I mean, I imagine they would probably hit a plateau. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about artificial selection, right? I mean, it works great for crops. For other things, it may have negative effects.
Well, I mean, it doesn't work too great for crops. I mean, there was the Irish potato famine, for example.
I do remember that.
I mean, whenever you breed anything like that, like really close into itself, you're going to have a gap at some point where some disease is going to just come through and tear that particular population apart.
Yeah, that was back in the 1800s. When
wait a minute.
They're having huge amount of crop problems with.
The Irish potato famine wasn't just because of the potato blight. There were other factors involved with it too. Potatoes generally want to grow somewhere where it's relatively dry.
and Ireland isn't exactly known for being dry, which leads to a blight.
So it was more the conditions.
That is a good point.
You were growing something in a place where it's not suited to grow, and then relying heavily on it during a time of famine.
I made a pun I didn't even notice. Fiona caught it. Horses stabilized. Get it? Stabilized. That is kind of funny.
All right. We'll give you that, Steve.
Yeah, come on. You make one joke a fucking video.
That's the last joke Steve gets to make for 2016.
That's the last one I get to make all day long.
We're laughing inside, Steve.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, actually, did you send me that PowerPoint? I don't remember.
I don't think I sent you that one. That one's from early this semester. It's PowerPoint number 20.
Yeah, I thought to be a blight, it has to be some kind of infectious disease as well. Fiona says blight is caused by an infectious disease called Phytoplethora infestum.
Blight is like a mold or a fungus.
Yeah, like a mold or a fungus.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can see though how the poor conditions would definitely exacerbate that. I didn't take that into account.
That's okay. We teach you science. You learn.
Yeah, it's a type of fungus.
Blight, the background for that Matthew McConaughey film. Gosh, what was it? With the black hole.
The
Interstellar.
Which one? The original Disney one or like the newer one?
No, it's Interstellar.
Oh, Interstellar. Oh, yeah.
I actually like that.
It was. Oh yeah, it's a great film. But wasn't the idea
I didn't like the Tesseract thing. I thought it was like, what the fuck.
Well,
Sorry,
yeah. I
don't
mean,
like
whenever you discuss, multidimensional math, it is kind of what's going on here, and there's only so many ways you can portray it so that a layman would have a loose grasp of what's
let's go
going
into a
on.
black hole that's created by aliens and go back in time. No, I don't like that. Don't buy it. Sorry.
So you're not a fan of like Star Trek 4, for example?
Oh no, no. I mean, I'm willing to suspend disbelief every so often, but not to that degree.
It's how much belief you're willing to suspend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, Star Trek is specifically science fiction, I mean, or science fantasy, rather. And Interstellar was pretty well straight up science fiction. Very possible until he fell into the black hole and, it turned into a funhouse mirror zone.
Yeah, no, Neil deGrasse Tyson ate that shit up. Like, he definitely said, you know what, spaghettification, the end.
Yeah. And by the way, Star Trek 4 is still one of the greatest movies ever. No, you don't have to have spaghettification. If the black hole is large enough, you can avoid spaghettification altogether. You can totally you won't even notice because the gradient change is so small because the black hole is so massive.
So it's supermassive and
supermassive, and so it's a very, very small gradual change rather than large changes like a small black hole. But the problem is that once you're in the event horizon, you're doomed, and eventually you will hit that singularity and die. So.
I think movie-wise, it was supposed to be a supermassive black hole because it was affecting. There was time dilation problems in nearby planets.
Yeah, it was like the type of ones you would find like in the center of galaxy. Those are supermassive. They're like
and that was actually one thing I really liked about the film was the way that it portrayed the time dilation problems.
No, they got that part right. I mean, they got that right. Sure, the planet they're on, and the 20-year thing. All that was spot on. Sure.
I love how they're sitting in the waves, struggling for like an hour, and then they get back to their spaceship, and the one crew's like, "It's been 10 years."
Yeah, whatever long it was. Yeah, that's how it would be. Sure.
Did they actually like crunch the math and figure that out, or they just threw out a number?
No, I think they actually. If they spent that much time making the model, because that model was supposedly spot on, the look of the black hole, I think they would actually probably have done the math. And the math isn't going to be that hard. I mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't seem like it seems like there's a a ratio per the size of the black hole, or I don't know. That's like, is General Han Solo still here?
No, he's not here.
Okay, I was going to ask him because I'm curious.
I remember reading Phil Plate's that's how you say his last name,
Yeah.
the Bad Astronomer.
The Bad
I remember
Astronomer,
reading his
huh?
review after the film came out, and he said he was saying that up until he fell into the black hole, the astronomy and physics was almost spot on.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed that part. It was the whole Tesseract thing that got me. That was an alien construction.
Yeah, he didn't really care much for that. But I was talking to a friend of mine too, and he said, I can almost bypass that when you understand that the point of the movie isn't really the science fiction; it's the relationship between the father and daughter. So if you focus on that,
so is
then maybe
Contact.
it's not bad.
Well, I thought the premise was the beginning was off too. I mean, they're building this big old rocket, and let's get some guy that used to be a pilot that's running a farm down here because he's the only one that can save the world.
Well, it's kind of one of those everyman kind of things that they're appealing to.
I know. I mean, like I said, I can only suspend disbelief so much.
I hate the everyman trope, though.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, right? We're not all, Chesty Puller or Audie Murphy charging the enemy line. I mean, that comes out once every like 100 years or so. Like most of us, like my analogy is always at film rounders, right? When you're playing poker, you got to nugget out $20 a game, time, 1 week at a time. That's how you live your life. It's that everyman trope is so overused.
Yeah, I definitely got that everyman feeling watching the movie, and I'm like, if you had the qualifications to be a pilot for NASA, you can be a farmer, but probably not likely unless you retire.
They didn't have anybody else in mind while they were building that. I mean, they when he came into the building, they're like, oh, who the fuck is this guy, kind of thing. I mean, yeah, he was remembered, but didn't they have anybody in mind prior to hit that? I mean, they were building this thing, waiting for somebody to pilot it. Really?
I mean, it was an interesting, almost like caste-like system that they had too, where kids were kind of selected early on to you're going to be a farmer, you're going to be an engineer, and
that's like Divergence.
Yeah, it's just that is extreme as Divergence.
No, it's City of Ember. It's job day.
I've seen that too. Oh my god, I do remember that movie, City of Ember. Is that like the oh my goodness?
It's the underground. It's the underground city.
Yeah.
The kids have to find the way out, but they all stick their hand in a bag, pull out a chip. That's your job.
Or like the Sorting Hat at
Hogwarts.
Harry Potter.
Don't even go to the Sorting Hat.
Yeah, go with the Sorting Hat.
Don't go with the Sorting Hat.
Engineer.
Yeah. You're janitor.
Oh.
Trust me, I'm an engineer. Rockets don't work in space.
Okay, Michael Ant.
Hey, at least in like books like Brave New World or whatever, they at least had the decency to genetically engineer them towards those jobs.
Yes.
You know what? We might have. You know what's funny is we might have a society one day where that's how it is. If there's ever a time it was a huge disaster, if we have like another mass extinction level event, we might have to do something like that. I mean, look how many people nowadays have moved away from the basics. I mean, do you really think that we have a society now that understands things without using computers? I mean, we're so computer reliant to do the calculations anymore that there's probably, I mean, yes, there's a lot of people that can, but for the most part, the average Joe Blow doesn't even remember how to do this shit after a certain point. They use computers to do this stuff, right? Who does hand calculations except for the very elite, you know?
Oh, man, let me get all conspiracy theory on you guys for just a second here. So, I completely agree with everything that you're saying right now, man. I mean, most of us really probably couldn't survive out in the wild. Most of us, a lot of people really just don't know anything about the technology that they use. And I will admit fully that I'm one of those people, dude. I mean, in most of us, like, we have this huge population right now. Like, we were having a population crisis all around the world. And a lot of this population only exists to keep the population living, you know? They're making their wages by, what's the word? Customer service, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, working to just help people live their daily lives, and that's enough for you to make your wages now. And, like, I'm kind of thinking, like, you know, I don't want to sound too much like a certain particular crazy person I know, but I could see maybe.
No, I'm not conspiratorial or nothing. I mean, think about it. Okay. If we had a situation where there was a big enough electromagnetic pulse to wipe out all of electronics, and that's not even that theoretical. It can happen very easily, actually. There are some things that are shielded, even with a Faraday cage, but for the most part, it wipes out all media. It blows anything with a transistor, anything with a diode, anything with a coil is going to get zapped. Okay? So, do you think there's a lot of people out there that have the technological expertise to build an iPhone again?
Oh hell no, dude! Like
Yeah,
if
so it'd be
something
very,
like that
if you had to
happens,
start from scratch, it would be very, very difficult, especially if that was combined with an actual extinction event killing people. If you had, let's say, for example, the most prevalent one that's going to happen eventually is Yellowstone. That's going to go up and blow up. It goes up every 600,000 years. It's long overdue. It's 640,000 years since its last eruption, so it's 40,000 years past its prime, or simply past its mark when it's supposed to go up. So it's going to blow up, and when it does, it's going to pretty much destroy 2/3 of the American continent. The eastern seaboard is gone. Okay. So at that point, the rest of the world is going to suffer with smoke, and that's going to kill off all the vegetation. So there's going to be billions and billions of people that die over this. To come back from that is going to be very, very difficult because, again, we don't have the basics anymore. I think that school, they teach them the basics, but people just forget about it because they get so damn dependent upon computers. So, I mean, does anybody disagree with that?
Steve, I'd like to point something out. Who here, either watching the live chat or in the call here, has ever watched videos on YouTube about preppers?
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course.
Now, there's something that these idiots, or at least some of the idiots, have done. Whatever little prepper stashes they have buried in their yard or wherever they've stuck it out in the woods, they have then gone and put them into their navigational system in their car. So they don't even know where the shit is.
So if GPS isn't working, they're kind of
steals
screwed,
their
right?
fucking car.
Yeah, that's...
I hate to break it to
Or
you
if
guys,
something
but the
happens
future,
to their little GPS and the battery dies on them, they're lost.
And, and 50 years ago, if there was a major catastrophe, I think we would have bounced back a lot easier than now, because 50 years ago, the engineers were engineers, and these guys were sharp. They used slide rulers. They could put a man on the moon. Slide rulers.
Oh, let me go. No. Let me find it.
you
I
guys
my
got
favorite
this all
prepper
wrong,
was the guy
right?
that built the whole underground thing with buses. Come on, that was freaking cool.
Yeah.
Fuck
You
you guys.
got it all wrong, right?
The Curta calculator.
The future is going to be Fallout.
You know what? Fuck you guys. I'm going to go live with Ozzy. Ozzy can survive.
Exactly.
Ozzy obviously he can live off the land, Which, by the way, I don't think it would be that bad. If there wasn't like the whole competing with other people shit, if there was a catastrophe and we had to live off the land and we had to go like the mountains and do that, I would be much more okay with that than some other scenarios.
well, people are the whole problem, because there are definitely going to be people like me who can't survive, and I am not going to die.
Yeah, we would use
I'm
you
going
for
to do what I
food.
got to do.
Yeah.
No, well, no, they're
You'd be
bartering and
drumsticks.
trading. No, bartering and trading. He can trade his ass, and then we can give him food.
I guess you still need to get laid,
No.
No, I just think that we're in a lot worse shape for a natural disaster now than we've ever have been, and it's just going to get progressively worse. And there's one around the corner. It's a matter of time. It's going to happen. It's not trying to be like all paranoid shit, but it won't be in our lifetime probably, or even our great grandchildren. But eventually, it's at some point there's going to be a huge disaster on Earth, whether it be from Yellowstone, whether it be from a gamma ray burst, whether it be from an asteroid impact. Something's going to happen.
That's why I'm a big proponent of. I'm generally opposed to government spending, but by all means, dump that money into NASA and Mars colonization.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. And Trump wants to do that as well. So I agree with him on that. I disagree with him on this other shit, but I do agree that we need to go to Mars. We need to diversify. There'll become a time where the planet becomes uninhabitable at some point. So, and again, we won't be the dominant species at that point. Some other species will take over that's more, adapt to that type of environment.
Or we turn into another species.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Fiona's right too. Hey, one second. Fiona says, chrono mass ejection. That is true, Fiona, but a CME would have to be really, really, really huge to knock out stuff that's actually shielded to prevent, to not be wiped out during a large CME. But yes, a CME could actually do that. But I think right now, the stuff that's actually shielded with the Faraday cages, CME is not going to affect that. But some other things that are more powerful than that, like a nuclear blast or what's called a.
Well, I always heard that the biggest danger from a CME wasn't so much the damage that they could do to the grid as it would be the ozone layer.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, I mean, CME affects the magnetosphere, so I'm sure that would affect the ozone layer. Sure.
That's going to be pretty shitty for those of you who don't have U melanin.
Black Joe crack.
Photosynthetic in this bitch. Thank you, dear.
Yeah, Drag, just wait for the nuclear winter.
Yeah. No, I do taste like chicken, so, it's...
No, fuck no, we're putting you on crossbows, motherfucker.
Go to Canada and hunt some moose.
Yeah, you're gonna be on crossbows. I'll take small arms. You got to prepare for the zombie apocalypse now.
Oh, if it's a zombie apocalypse, I'm going back to Fort Irwin.
Guys, I'm telling you, it's going to be like the video game Fallout. You got to invest money in Vault Tech Incorporated.
If there's a company called Vault Tech Incorporated, like if a company crops up, like a legit company that builds like Fallout shelters and all these kind of, doomsday prep shit, they're going to make so much money, it's not even fucking funny.
All I know is I want to be involved in the Gary Vault.
No. If it's going to go Fallout, you start saving caps now.
You ever play Half-Life?
Half-Life
is a pretty scary game. If you seriously play Half-Life, or I think it was like Half-Life 2 actually. Really cool music score. I mean, just like sit back and play that game in the dark. It's pretty scary. And the scariest game I ever played was a game called Silent Hill. Really scary game.
I have minor PTSD from Silent Hill. Thank you very much.
Do you like Silent Hill? Is that a good game?
Talk to me about Silent Hill, goddammit.
I thought that game was awesome.
No, I had to drive home this morning in the goddamn fog. It looked like fucking Silent Hill coming home.
Oh, that would suck.
I literally thought I was going to run the fuck over Pyramid Head at some point.
Well, problem solved then, right? I mean, if you schmuck Pyramid Head right from the get-go, everything else is downhill, right?
Yeah, the thing with the Carrington event with the CME, a CME can actually induce voltage in a copper wire because the left-hand rule. So Lenz's law. So basically, if you have a coil, especially if you have any kind of a magnetic field crossing that, it'll induce a current in there. So people that have electronics, it could actually hurt you. It could actually cause you to be seriously injured. So yes, a CME could actually physically injure people if you have an iPod on you or something and it blows up because it's got a huge current pass through it. Yeah, it can be dangerous.
Looks like my wife is going to have the last laugh after all.
Get off the computer, honey. You never spend any time with me.
My wife just got done writing some notes for me for my final.
Was your wife really cracking up about Reds calling in for Gman?
Yeah, because I had it on my phone. That's why you heard an echo, because I had the live broadcast playing, and so she's listening to it sitting on my lap while I was playing. If you actually look at my camera, you can kind of see her sitting in my lap.
A lot of people found that to be hilarious. Somebody made a good video too, actually, of both sides, and then had us laughing for like 3 minutes or something, just on a loop with a beat to it.
Hey, Steve, got a question for you, bud.
What's up, bud? How you been?
Me. I just tuned in, so forgive me if you guys have already talked about this.
Go for it.
Speaking of getting primal, I stumbled upon Ronnie's video where, if I'm not losing my mind, I think he was challenging Dragnot to a fist fight.
He did. He did. We could definitely touch on that again, my friend.
Is this happening?
Yeah. So, well, here's the update on it, and then I'll let Drag. Basically, Drag has said yes. to a boxing and MMA style fight. That's
Oh
what he was
my God.
and he has reached out to Ronnie and said, okay, let us know the details. And Ronnie has been really quiet so far. But
awesome.
I don't want to take that as a sign he's backed out. But you know how Ronnie is. I mean, I challenged a debate, and then 10 minutes later, he's already backing out and changing the rules. So
Well,
You seem pretty serious.
yeah, he did. Well, what I made a response video to it, and I raised the stakes on him. So I said, well, if we're going to have boxing, we're also going to have like an MMA style fight as well. But when I fight like that, it is almost like a fight to the fucking death. And I'm actually catching a bit of flack on that because people are saying, well, if you raise the stakes like that, he's not gonna, agree to it. Well, I said, hey, here's the thing. He challenged me to a fight on his terms because he feels he's superior in that arena. So I can agree to that, but why not make a stipulation to put myself in an area where I'll be, good as well?
hey, Mithridates, will you make sure you're there just in case Ronnie needs medical attention?
Oh, I would love that.
It's not like, it'll be just a street fight in the middle of the road, but it's like you're going to fight like your life depends on it. So, if like one of the things that I had said is that, well, if you tap out, and the other person does not agree to it, then, hey, you better hope there's somebody there to pull you off. But yeah, that's a little bit of me bloviating. Like, I'm not going to just go and meet this guy in a slum in fucking Chicago. Like, I legit want to have a MMA style fight that has somebody there that can, officiate it, so it's just not two dudes fighting in the middle of a fucking, arena or wherever.
Do you think you could not do the fight to the death mentality and have a more of a friendly bout like he suggested?
Perhaps. It depends on, and like I say, we can talk about it.
He has to contact you. But before I get too far into the video here, I want to bring this up real quick. Jason, do you want to come in and address something, Rev News? Because the other day, Annabelle was in here saying that Rev News has become a flat earther, and most of us here kind of said, well, that doesn't really sound like Jason. It sounds like he, we know Jason likes to troll, and maybe he was in some kind of flat earther thing trolling them. Because I'm like, I just can't believe that he would become a flat earther. I mean, it just boggles my mind that he would do that. And Annabelle was pretty insistent, saying that he had actually turned into a flat earther, and that she was kind of getting upset that we weren't believing her at face value. But this is one of those things that I don't care who you are. If you tell me something, I will validate it. I'm not distrusting you. I just want confirmation because people make mistakes, right? Even Drag, who I have the utmost respect for. Drag tells me the sky is purple polka dot. I'm pretty well going to believe him, but I still want validation, right? I still want to go, okay, Drag, there might be something to that. I don't know what's going on, but let me find out. But I want to see what for myself. And that's how it should be with anybody, right? There's nothing wrong with that. We're not saying that we don't believe somebody because we want validation. You should want validation. We're naturally skeptical here. But I just asked Jason if he's a flat earther, and he's like, hell no. So if Jason wants to come in here and explain to us what the fuck that was all about, I would love to hear. Because
yeah, that's I kind of thought it was Rev like pulling what's his name's chain, because Rev is actually a good troll, unlike fucking Spoken.
Oh yeah, no,
Rev can troll with some of the best of them.
Sure, yeah, but Spoken's, like you said, is an amateur trivial troll. I mean, he sucks at it to no end. I mean, he sucks at a lot of things, but he doesn't know when to troll, and his arguments are so fucking bad. I was listening to you talk to him with Ocean for a little bit before I went back to bed, and even Ocean was destroying the poor kid, just destroying him, because he was just like all over the place, contradicting himself left and right.
Dude, it was hilarious. Like, I was sitting, that's why I threw my heads up. I was like, 1 minute he's an unrepentant fucking unrepentant troll that's just, he does it for the lulz, but then it's a part of a Christian,
right?
It's part of a Christian scheme, but then it switched to, oh no, I'm not saying that, I do it because it brings out the best in people and they have really good conversations. So then I go, wait, what? So you're a troll, but you're not a troll, but you are a troll, but you're not a troll.
Yeah. Well, Jason says she's full of it. So if he wants to come in here and clear that up, I would love to have that. But if not, from what I can understand on the record, he's saying he's not a flat earther. Which, by the way, did I not say that I found it very doubtful that Rev News has become a flat earther? I'm sorry. Now Floyd FP, he's a flat earther. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
of course Floyd is.
Flat,
we all know Floyd is.
Flatty.
He loves flat earth.
Flat butts.
Yeah, he's also a geocentrist and a young earth creationist now. Right, Floyd? And a Scientologist.
And a poopy head.
Big poo-poo head. Hey, Floyd, you got to have a debate with General. That was going to be awesome. You guys would really be two people I'd love to listen to actually have a real debate. Because, you guys are both smart on these things. Okay, Jason says, I don't need to come in, Steve. You can put me on record. I'm not a flatty. There you go. And I want you to know, Jason, that I was saying that from the moment she said that Jason went to Flat Earth. I was like, I'm sorry. I can't accept that until I hear him say it. Well, don't you believe me? Yeah, and I love you. I'm not saying that you don't think that's true, but I need to know more about this before I just believe people at face value. I'm sorry. It just, that's not a slight against anybody. So Floyd says he will debate General. So yeah, get a hold of him, arrange something, make it maybe on the concordance approach, or science in the Bible. I think that'd be really interesting. Because again, you guys, I respect both you guys, right? So I would listen to Floyd and I listen to General and go, hey, here's two people that are intelligent, articulate, knows the topic, and that would be the perfect type of debate. Not something like people going into against fucking Nephilim free. That's not a fucking debate.
Lunar Bukaki, I win.
Oh. Yeah, he's been really silent except for a little while ago he popped up, and out of nowhere he just in the outside external chat, not the live feed, but the external chat, he started going off on me, and I'm like, what the fuck,
really?
Bro? Dude, Effie, I haven't talked to you in months. Go fuck off. What the fuck you want to do with me?
You want to invite him one of the Fridays to give him the floor and just explain to everyone his bullshit? I don't know what you want to call it.
I don't know. Maybe we should have like Nephi at noon.
Nephi at noon.
Nephi at noon. We'll pick like a Saturday and we'll have like Nephi at noon where Nephi come in and just rant. Join us for Nephi at noon, Saturday at noon.
When I was having trouble sleeping back when I was in the service, I would annoy my wife because I'd have my phone and I would play Nephi and I just put it on my chest, and so she would get kind of pissed off, like, why am I listening to this guy? It was like, he's soothing, like he's boring as fucking shit. He's not saying anything, but words are coming out, and let me tell you, it worked. If you don't believe me, go lay down, listen to Nephilim Free, talk about whatever, and it will put you to sleep.
Oh yeah, I've done that. I literally have fallen asleep listening to Nephi.
That makes so much sense.
I fell asleep listening to Nephi that one time. I couldn't believe it.
It's kind of like C-SPAN.
Oh my God, no! I was. Well, we have a lot of new listeners, but what happened was Keefe's was having a debate with Nephi about a year ago or so, a year and a half ago, and I told Keefe's I'd listen to it to give him my opinion on it, and literally during Nephi's 10-minute opening, I passed out, and I woke up like 90 minutes later when it was over. I was out cold. But and I wanted to say something real quick because we had said we didn't believe that Jason was a flat earther. I hope everybody has the same respect that if anybody says something about me to that fucking degree, that people want to get the story firsthand. That's why I extend it to other people. And that's why if somebody tells me something, even if Drag tells me something, I still want to get it from the other person because I think I owe it to somebody that I respect to get the information firsthand and not take somebody, not because I think Drag would lie to me. He wouldn't, but maybe he messed up, maybe he got something wrong, maybe there's more to the story. There's always more to a story, right? So I would hope that if somebody said, hey, Steve turned into a flat earther, somebody would come to me and go, hey, Steve, such and such said you're a flat earther. And I'd be like, fuck, no, I haven't been, or yes, I have. Shouldn't we all have that kind of respect for each other in this community?
I think so. Should.
You would think so, right?
Maybe. I don't know. Fuck you. No.
And by the way, Jim, it wasn't during a hangout. I was off air. I was listening in. So Jim's like, he falls asleep during hangouts. I've never fallen asleep in a hangout. Not saying I haven't wanted to before, but I never have.
Yeah, Isaiah, that was a weird debate. He started it by asking your age, and that's a Nephi tactic to go ahead and get off a topic. If anyone's ever talking to Nephi and he starts asking you about your age and your personal stuff, ask him about his education in biology. He'll stop immediately.
Yeah, well, Nephi doesn't know how to debate.
Ask him for his education and background in photography.
And I'm sure he's pretty good at it too. But,
no, it was a mail order course.
Was it?
Yeah.
I heard actually he makes pretty good photos, but I've never talked to him about photography, so I wouldn't even know where to begin.
No, he was your mall portrait photographer.
Oh, that's his extent, mall photography.
You know, it's the guy you go to the department store
Yeah,
with the family and sit down and get your report. Yeah, that's what you
like
did.
Sears. Like Sears had
the Sears photo guy.
Well, I don't know. Okay, think about it. If you were like hiring Nephi, I mean, the first time he opened his mouth about his beliefs, you'd be like, "What the fuck did we just do?"
You know,
I think it was the photographer job. Then the beliefs came later.
Do you know why he doesn't do Hangouts that much? Because he hasn't figured out yet how to do them through YouTube. Seriously, he's asked around and nobody seems to wants to help him. He doesn't know how to do the live feed, doesn't know how to set up through YouTube, so he just hasn't really been doing it.
Give the guy a hand.
I would tell him how to do it. I got no problem.
Yeah, but I mean, he lives in like this happy little bubble all to himself, and it's kind of hard to reach the guy. Let's be honest. I mean, he puts everybody on block like the moment that you say anything that remotely disagrees with him.
Well, he's got so much invested in this, right? I mean, this is his. If young-earth creationism isn't true to him, then his whole reality is wrong, right? And to him, I mean, this is something that God has spoken to him, and he can't have that. Obviously, it'd give him a mental breakdown.
If God's talking to him, YouTube is not the place for him, anyways.
Yeah, like Rob Beasley.
You know, he is like really, really confident about himself. Do you think that he actually hears the voice of God? Like, honestly, like hears
no,
the
I don't
voice
think
talk to him?
ever even said
like,
that. But
I'm not saying that is the case. I'm just saying, like, do you think it is possible that he could be like into that level of lunacy?
Well, I mean, he has claimed that he was abducted by aliens.
Are you serious? Or
he was a big alien dude back in the day.
All right, I'm honestly feeling a little bit more confident about what I just said.
And he was a geocentrist. Do you know that at one time?
Yep.
No,
he doesn't like talking about those days. Those are dark days for him.
It doesn't really shock me, to be honest.
However, Steve, there is one thing that Nev has stated, and that of all the crazy that he may have ever said, he is not a flat earther.
He is not a flat earther. Yeah,
I
will say that.
Not a flat earther.
Yep.
That stuff is a lie that is corrupting these other people he sees on the internet.
Yeah, the flat earthers comes from Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think he's ever stated where it's from, but he's emphatic about it that it's a bunch of crap.
Well, if I remember correctly, he still states that he's unconvinced on the issue of geocentrism. He could go either way.
Yeah, but that just means the Earth is at the center of the solar system or universe, galaxy, however you want to look at it. But it's not a flat disk. His crazy has limits.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah, he actually has argued against flat earthers, so which is kind of strange because he doesn't understand simple things like plate tectonics. He thinks that the fountains of the deep opened up and hit the moon, not understanding that it would melt the crust of the Earth. But there's actually been mathematics done on that. Somebody actually did the mathematics. If all that water that supposedly existed during the flood existed, it would actually literally liquefy the crust of the Earth. How much energy it would be.
Yeah, Thunderfoot did the math.
Was it Thunderfoot?
Thunderfoot's
not who I'm thinking of because there was actually somebody else. I think his name was Jack or John or something like that. He may have gotten the numbers from him, but there's been things out there. People have done the math before, so yeah.
I think Don X's team might have done a video too.
How would it have liquefied the crust of the Earth? The release of energy, the friction,
the amount of enthalpy in the if you had all that water crash down onto the Earth, the canopy,
okay.
Yeah. It'd be a tremendous amount of energy released.
You'd have the state of matter changing fairly rapidly if that were to happen. Like all matter on Earth.
Right.
And if you do the fountain of the Earth, it's the same problem because you have all that massive amount of energy being exposed to atmospheric pressure. What's going to happen is going to become superheated steam.
Here's my question with it. If as the story is told, if you want to be literal about it, it's supposed to cover everything except for that little bit of Mount Ararat there where the ark lands. So let's just ignore Mount in the Himalayas there, Mount Everest, because that one's taller, but we'll just ignore that one. Okay, so the amount of water required, where did it all go?
Well, now some of them are actually talking about the ringwood that are saying, oh, well, now they found all those billions of gallons of water. That's 400 miles deep, by the way. That's not even in liquid form. They're trying to say, oh, that's where it went. No, no, and no. It's not even liquid water.
Yeah.
So it evaporated.
But then it would still be in the atmosphere.
What's that?
If it evaporated, it would still be in the atmosphere.
Oh, I mean, we would be a hot sauna for like hundreds and thousands of years probably.
Which is really ironic because a lot of young Earth creationists will argue that because of the climate change after the flood, there's no more dinosaurs.
Right. It wouldn't be any more anything because the condensed H2O would act as a blanket, like a warming blanket that would increase the greenhouse effect.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually something I just recently learned. I didn't know that atmospheric H2O could contribute to the greenhouse effect.
Yeah, well, basically it's cloud cover.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In fact,
yeah, of course.
I'd have to go look him up to get his name. But there's a guy who actually did a study on global warming and cloud cover, but not just cloud cover, but also contrails from aircraft. And he proved it because of 9/11 when all the airplanes were grounded for 3 days.
What?
He had a 3-day window with no contrails. Therefore, he had a 3-day window with only natural cloud cover in the area. And he could see a change in the temperature.
Yep.
Which is interesting. Oh, shit. Beasley's on my ass again. Sorry.
Oh, fuck him. He's not ever allowed in here. Ever,
Oh,
ever,
good.
ever. No
Well, that's why the planet Venus is so warm.
Yeah.
Because it's completely covered by clouds. And it
The
provides
sunlight gets in,
light.
bounces off the surface, hits the clouds, bounces down.
I don't know. I was in a Red's hangout and I was trying to figure out. I've heard it before, but I really didn't look too much into it. But this whole cold heat thing with the moon and shit, I'm like, what? It's so goddamn stupid from the outset.
All right.
That
What?
I don't know how they could even try to make a rational argument for cold heat. Let's think about this.
It's cold light. The light itself emits cold instead of heat.
That's stupid.
What?
Well, yeah.
Heat is the transfer of energy. Heat has to be in motion. You can't store heat. Heat has to literally.
Wait. I'm going to turn off. I have a desk lamp here. I'm going to turn it off for a second.
You can't.
Okay, now that I'm in the dark, I guess I got cold light, don't I?
Yeah, I mean, cold is just the absence of heat.
Well, no, I stopped transferring the energy from the light bulb, right?
Cold.
It just makes no sense to me that these fuckers say like that's cold heat.
It's not cold heat. It's cold light.
They call it the video we watched called it cold heat.
Cold.
Like
The video we watched called it literally cold heat.
Either way, if it's light, it's still going to warm something up because it's a form of radiation.
Yes, and radiation has energy.
Yes.
The energy of the photon.
But the way they described it was the moonlight, like the moon emits its own light, and that light is cold for some reason.
That's it, Vincent. That's why it cools off at nighttime.
Oh, that makes sense.
See, you're
now.
bathed in
Genius.
moonlight, which is colder.
Genius. I totally get it now. No.
Wait, what?
And that's why in the wintertime, Steve, it's cold because the days are shorter. You get more moonlight.
Wow. You know what? My whole paradigm has been shifted. Thank you. I'm having an epiphany now. Actually, I'm having an existential crisis because my whole reality has been changed. I'm having a Mandela effect because in my reality, no, that was bullshit.
It's literally reality. Birds fart, and that's how they fly.
I'm literally holding my final exam in physics, and I just want to burn it right now.
You don't need any of that stuff, man. Physics is all wrong according to flat
man,
earthers.
after talking to Claim Your Inheritance, I just need to stop. Like, fuck all this.
How do people get that goddamn stupid?
Wow.
I still want to ask Jason.
They
So,
never were
Jason,
that
were you
smart to
trolling
begin with.
people, Rev? Were you in like the flat earthers just trolling them? Because where did people get the impression that Rev News was a flat earther? That's what I want to know.
I think Rev was trolling him.
That's what I'm thinking too. And I mean, Jason is a good troller. I mean, I appreciate a good troll, right? I mean, I don't like the amateur ones, but a good troll I appreciate. I've done
You know
once
who's
or
a good
twice.
troll?
Only somebody after they trolled me though.
Ocean's a good troll.
Oh yeah, he can troll.
Ocean got fucking spoken today. Got him in the hangout just to berate him and made him.
Oh, it was beautiful. I had to go back to bed, but yeah, I watched a little bit of that, and Ocean just basically ass raped him. I mean, he made him sound like a babbling
we're
idiot.
going to have to go here. Vincent, do you know who's a good troll?
Reds.
Ocean's mom.
Oh, God. Walk into
She
that
taught
one.
him everything she knows.
Now let's see if that gets Ocean in here.
So I got some questions for my physics final for you guys. Let's see who knows. All right. These are I'm sticking with the heat transfer here.
Oh,
What
fuck, I'm not
primary
gonna
heat
remember.
transfer mechanism does the sun warm the Earth? A, conduction, B, convection, C, radiation, or D, all the above processes are equally important in combination?
Radiation.
I would go with all of them.
Well, you can't have convection in space. Now there's convection on the Earth, so if you're talking about in the Earth's atmosphere, then it'd be all of them.
Yeah, we have an atmosphere. Is what I was
We have
saying.
an atmosphere, but I mean you can't have convection in space.
Any other guesses? All right. Steve is right. It's radiation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's one. The process in which heat flows by the mass movement of molecules from one place to another is known as A, conduction, B, radiation, C, convection.
Conduction. Well, if it's in a fluid, it's convection. If you're talking about a fluid, if you have a fluid and you have a region of hotter to colder, from denser to not denser, then you can have convection.
See, I thought it was conduction originally, and then I went and checked it. It was convection.
Yeah, if you have movement of heat transfer from one region of higher concentration to another in a fluid, that's convection.
Yeah, it doesn't specify here. It just says mass movement of molecules from one place to another. So I said, yeah, that one was wrong.
I would have guessed convection, but that's just because of the wording. Like, it's kind of ambiguous.
Yeah, it is kind of ambiguous because, you know, with conduction, usually your surface area has to be in contact for conduction, right? So if I have like a piece of metal and I put my hand on it, and that metal is hot, it's conducting away because I'm in contact with it. That's conduction. But if I have a beaker full of a fluid or something and I'm causing that to swirl around, the heat transfer is being throughout the fluid. That's going to be convection, or like an oven. Right, the air is a fluid. Which, by the way, somebody disagreed with me on that. They're like, "Air's not a fluid." Yes, air is a fluid, people.
Yeah.
Okay, gas is a fluid. They're
Yeah,
like, gas isn't a fluid. Yes, gas is a fluid. I don't know how you can't think otherwise. It's not a liquid, but it is a fluid.
Who the fuck said gas isn't a fluid?
I don't know who this.
No,
somebody the other day I was
when you
arguing.
say
I was
fluid,
explaining this to, and they didn't grasp it. They're like, gas isn't a fluid, dummy.
When you say fluid, Steve, everyone thinks things like water.
Yeah, but I understand
they
that.
don't realize that the air around them is a fluid.
I get that,
It's the
but when
same
somebody is
fucking
telling me
way.
that I'm wrong on something as simple as that, I'm like, no, I'm not.
God, that's like middle school physics.
Well, that's one of the first
You had to
things
go
you
to middle
learn.
school.
But one of the first things you learn when you get in one of these classes is how to unlearn stuff. Like using terms colloquially, will get you fucked up. And so a lot of these are geared toward, addressing that really layman use. And that's why I like this one. This is
Just
a hybrid.
just remember convection, fluid, conduction, contact.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of these questions actually have to do with conduction.
That's why
Don't ask me to figure out the problems. I mean, I had to use all those equations years ago. Obviously, when nuke school, we took heat transfer fluid theory, and we ought to Q dot. There's a lot of Q dot formulas. The only one I remember off the top of my head was Q dot equals MC delta T, which is T hot minus T cold.
That's why I said.
But there's a lot of formulas for Q dots.
For that question, I would have guessed convection because it didn't mention contact, and you would figure if the answer was going to be conduction, they would have mentioned.
What did it give you as an answer?
Yeah, it's convection.
Yeah, because it's not contact.
So yeah, that's one of the things that, and after I read it and I looked at it, because all these answers are online. Luckily, I mean, it's a take.
You know what's funny? You know what's
bonus.
funny is I've had tests where the questions I have a tendency to overanalyze questions. I really honestly do. That's why a lot of times I'll be like, okay, I don't know the answer. It was only because I'm overanalyzing the shit out of it. It's always been a bad habit of mine. But sometimes questions are worded poorly, and I'm like, what are they asking here? And I don't know. Do I think to myself, are they asking something very simple and I'm overanalyzing it, or are they asking something very complicated and I'm thinking, they're asking, I should put down a simple answer. That's a hard thing when you've got a poorly formed question.
Yeah, I could have sworn I had a question like that on here, but I'm looking, and it may have been on the previous one.
See, when we used to do our tests, we would go over each question, and if we could justify the question was, a problem, or we could justify our answer, we would actually get some points out of it. That was actually half the fun, is actually trying to get more points when you get the test back. Because if you like, hey, you know what, this question, it could be interpreted this way. Okay, we'll give you some points for it.
Oh, here's an interesting one. Let's see. Action-reaction forces, A, always act on the same object. B, may be at right angles. C, always act on different objects. Or D, sometimes act on the same object.
No, they act on the same object.
They always or sometimes?
Always.
Actually, I got to go to my answer sheet for that. I didn't have that one.
Because if you do a free body diagram, you're doing it from the perspective of one object. Now, granted, there's an opposite and equal reaction, right? Newton's law of motion, the law of motion, but the action is opposite is still on the object from the free body diagram.
Just a minute.
So again, it depends on what you mean by it, from what perspective. I mean, if you have two bodies in contact, you have one net force being from a downward vector. Let's say they're on top of each other. You have a downward vector on one. You're going to have an opposite reaction from the other one, right?
Yeah, this is one that's kind of short. It doesn't have any images. There's no room for a free body diagram or anything. But normally, for something like this, I would have drawn a free body diagram like a brick or something in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it that way, then it's obviously more than one object involved.
Well, if I can pull up my physics final document, was that number 22? 22 is supposed to be. Oh, no one put an answer for that. Great.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Because when you do a free body diagram, you're really concerned about all the forces, your net forces on a single object, right? That's what a free body diagram is doing. You want to know what is all the objects, what's the summation of all my forces? Because F equals ma is really the summation of F equals a summation of ma, right? I mean, so it's a summation of all the forces.
Yeah, and then that's why you set them equal to one another. And so if you're trying to find like I think I would, if we're trying to find if work was being done, if I'm not mistaken, there's a friction coefficient that you had to know. And let's say if you were trying to find the acceleration, you could set both of those equal to 0 and then use the friction coefficient, if I'm not mistaken, to.
Well, the friction coefficient is the amount of energy you need to overcome, or the force you need to overcome the resistance of friction. So if you have something on top of each other and I want to push something, to get it to move, I have to overcome the friction coefficient.
Yeah, from the, was it the KS?
So the friction coefficient is 0. It basically, once it's starting to move, it's going to go on forever. It's not going to have any losses. It's a theoretical thing, obviously. You're always going to have losses. But work is really is the energy needed to. Well, no, I don't want to say that. Let me say the energy is actually into a system to do work. Work is the area underneath the curve from like a Conoe curve, a work diagram. If you look at that diagram for Conoe efficiency, where you've got like 4 stages, the bottom stage, that line that's on that graph, if you did an integral of that curve, that is exactly equal to the amount of work done in that system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, luckily I don't have the.
That's when you got to use the fundamental theorem of calculus.
Yeah, no, we have Logger Pro. Logger Pro calculates the integral for us. Luckily.
And you were doing Riemann. Oh fuck! I did learn that method, but
that was for a separate class. That was a completely separate class. Yeah, and
why did you ever use a Riemann method? That's just...
I don't know. Like that's
I learned that actually in college algebra.
Really?
Yeah, I remember doing that. I think it was college. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's college algebra. I had that.
Yeah, I am so glad I don't ever have to look at another Riemann sum ever again. I am.
Yeah, they're annoying.
Uh, I need to actually put this up. I mean, it's bonus points now. I've already gotten my instructor told me I've gotten a solid B already, and she doesn't think I'm out of the range for A because I fucked up on too many tests. But I did all my homework, did all the in-class assignments, the labs, and all this stuff. So I'll take my my B and try and shoot for an A next semester. But next semester is going to be fun. We're going to do electro. We're going to do electricity. Magnetism. We're going to do stuff with light waves, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, so are you going to do like Fourier transformations?
For what?
Fourier transformations, where you take you go from the frequency domain to the time domain. It's basically a way of using transform for the wave functions. Or you're just using more like Lenz's law. Lenz's law is
not a physics.
And Faraday's law. I've heard of that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be going through that because this is just the algebra-based course. So I think the guys who are actually majoring in physics, they're taking the calculus-based one. They actually go in depth like that.
Yeah, I would think you have to do it in both. It's basically just the direction of induced current from the. If you got an induction coil wrapped around some kind of conductor, or even air could do it too. But I mean, you usually have like a metal or iron core because it has less hysteresis losses. But if you have a coil wrapped around a piece of metal and you induce if that magnet is moving back and forth throughout the center of that coil, it's going to induce a actual current in that coil itself, or vice versa. If you put a magnetic, if you put the coil to a battery and induce a current through it, it's actually going to move the magnet. It's going to magnetize. That's how you make an electromagnet. So, yeah, those are based on Lenz's law and Faraday's law. I think the right hand rule is. So I always get them confused. The right hand, left hand. I'm just going to say the right hand. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But in the right hand is if you grip the wire such that your fingers are going clockwise around the conductor, the current flow is going to be the direction of the thumb. Is that right? Somebody remind me of the difference. Urology says right hand. I always got those confused, the right hand, left hand.
I don't think we're going to do fun stuff like that. Let me actually check the course description. I'll tell you in just a second. Exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. The left-hand rule. Actually, now I looked this up because I wanted to remember the left-hand rule. If you put your fingers out where you like pointing, like you make a gun, and then you put your middle finger perpendicular to your hand, the middle finger is the direction of the field. The direction of force is going to be orthogonal to the direction of the field, meaning it's perpendicular. And the current is going to be going through the wire with 90 degrees to that. So basically, if you have a wire in between two magnets and you put a current through it, it's going to cause that wire to move up 90 degrees orthogonal to it. And that's how you actually make an induction motor. Right, urology? That's the left-hand rule. So the left-hand rule is used for determining the direction of a motor. Right-hand rule is for direction of current flow when you have a electric current around a wire. Hey, this is a good review for me. I mean, I haven't looked at this shit in ages.
Here's the course description. Introductory College Physics with Lab is the second part of a 2-semester algebra-based physics course. Topics include electricity, magnetism, light, optics, and modern physics. Conceptual understanding will be integrated with problem solving and lab experience. Previous exposure to physics principles and strong math skills are highly recommended. Really doesn't go into depth yet.
Yeah, urology want to know the middle finger is direction of the current, the index finger is direction of the field, and the thumb is direction of the force. It's Fleming's right-hand rule. And yes, I did have to look that one up. I didn't remember. But here's the thing. Even though I may not remember off the top of my head, I could probably have figured it out if I thought about it. But we've all been exposed to this kind of stuff. We've all had to take these it right? So it may not be like the first thing on top of our head to remember this stuff, but at least we remember what they are basically. But that's the difference between that and the clown car posse. You ask them like the right hand or left hand rules, they'll be like, "What the fuck is that?" They have no basis of anything to even draw upon. They have no education in these topics. Anyways, are we drawing this to a conclusion, my friends? You want to give a final tally? I don't think anything's changed as far as the votes. Let's see, one last look. Yeah, no. So I think they're tied again.
Great.
Yep,
Go vote for
tied
Ronnie.
again.
Hey, Steve, you just inspired me to do some review. Look up some things.
What are you gonna look up?
It.
Well, first of all, Myth, have you voted yet for Dumbfuck of the Year?
No, I haven't. Is Andrew Rappaport one I can vote for?
No, he's not, unfortunately. But there's no write-ins this time. But we gave him an honorable mention because he said some pretty dumbfuckery things just recently. If you hadn't been paying attention to what's been going on, Rappaport made some pretty goddamn stupid statements.
Well, what did you say? I haven't heard.
He had said, "Oh my goodness." He was talking about polonium halos as evidence for a young Earth. He had said that. Oh my goodness, there's a whole bunch of
Mary
shit
Schneider.
that Jade had written down. And I'm drawing a blank.
He talked about the Oort cloud and blue stars.
Oh yeah, there's a blue star in the Oort cloud. The Oort cloud makes blue stars. Yeah, wrap your mind around that one. We can't.
That hurts my brain.
Makes blue stars?
Yeah, he said that the formation of the Oort cloud is where blue stars form.
I thought the color blue in any like celestial body was from like potassium or something.
No, it just means blue stars are generally like really, really hot. They're usually blue-white type stars.
From the heat. Yeah.
So based upon their thermal output.
And don't forget that Mary Snyder is an atheist, and she found soft tissue.
Yeah, he kept calling her Mary. He called her Mary Snyder, then he called her Mary Schmitzner or something like that.
And she's an atheist.
And she's an atheist. Yeah, so Dr. Schweitzer is now an atheist, according to him. But that wasn't his biggest gaffe. No, there was one even bigger than that I was like, what the fuck? It had to do with evolution or biology.
I went on about the special which theory of evolution special.
Oh, the special. Yeah, did you know there's a special and general theory of evolution?
What?
Yes.
I actually know where you got that from. There actually is a third wave movement for biology from these fringe groups that want to make a special and general theory of relativity, and they have something on the internet about it. I think he probably read it and took it as gospel. That is actually the way it is, rather than this being some kind of weird.
You just said relativity and not evolution, but yeah.
Or he just got it confused with relativity. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and maybe he did read something at one time because there is something out there about that. But of course, we all know there's no such distinction. But here's the video in the group chat, Myth, to go vote for Ronnie. Make as many socks as you want. Yeah. And what were you inspired to go study and go review? Electromagnetics.
Oh, okay, here we go. I was
Maxwell's
trying
equations.
I was trying to figure out where I got potassium and blue from. It's from a pigment, Prussian blue.
Oh, Prussian blue. You know what we actually used to use Prussian blue for? Prussian blue is actually what we used to use it to. What you do is you'll take a flange, and you'll take a gasket, and you'll put Prussian blue on the gasket, right? And then you put it on the flange, and it looks for any kind of imperfections in the flange, so you make sure you don't have a blowout of your gasket. And you could actually use it for metal-metal contact too. You could take two pieces of metal and you put them together, and it shows the amount of contact. So Prussian blue is a very good way to detect for any kind of scoring or something like that.
And they use it in fireworks too, don't they? And
no, there's something else about Prussian blue that's kind of cool too, and I forgot. If you ingest it, it does something weird. It turns your pea blue.
If you ingest it, nice.
Yeah, I've never tried. I never drank it, but we used to use Prussian blue in the Navy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it just what, iron and potassium?
I do not remember. I can look it up. But it's funny you mentioned. I haven't heard anybody use Prussian blue in ages.
Yeah, people use it in iron binding studies and like cytology and things like that.
Buying your iron.
Yeah, it's an iron. Yeah, it's iron, based on iron.
But yeah, if people haven't voted for Dumbfuck of the Year, please go vote for Ronnie. Jump all over him like he was chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake.
Who are my choices?
So that makes sense because it says Prussian blue is used for an antidote for heavy metal poisoning by thallium and cesium.
Yeah. Who is putting on the voting? Who's doing that?
Red.
Yeah, Red's rhetoric. It's Dumbfuck of the Year. It's annual. Gman won it 2014. A guy named Jeranism, who's a flat earther, won it in 2015. This year we're pushing hard for TrueEmpiricism, but he's got steep competition with Darwin's deity right now. So
I don't think Ronnie is as dumb as a couple of those other ones, though.
It's
like I think
DNA.
he talks over his head, obviously, and he talks out of his ass. But I bet if he were put in a learning situation, you could force feed him eventually. I don't think
Okay,
I agree.
Rappaport or G-Man, like I don't think they could learn.
Yeah, but okay, but this isn't who the dumbest is, right? The flat earthers are the dumbest. We all agree flat earthers are the bottom of the barrel. This is the dumb fuck of the year, though. It's not just dumb; it's who's done the biggest dumb fuckery. And
Okay,
for
I
a
get it.
year, Ronnie has been a huge dumb fuck.
his crowning achievement so far was he challenged Dragnot to a boxing match.
That's definitely the icing on the cake. So all you gotta do is go to that video and click you like it or dislike it. We usually do like. Did you already do it?
I'm doing it right now.
All right, because I want to see the go up because that means we won't be 1 point ahead. That means I can end the video and not have to change my title because I have it at 1 point ahead. I'm so glad Myth has been joining us lately.
You see it?
I
did it.
You've been a huge what I should say it thing to our community. You know, to my hangouts.
In addition.
Yeah, addition.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. I wish I could join more. I just work all the damn time. So.
Well, speaking of work, I have some pictures of my anus that I need to sing you to, for medical reasons, of course.
Well, good news. Good news. I can see yours. The bad news is that Darwin's got some votes too just now. He's now at 248, so he's actually 1 point ahead. Boy, this is neck and neck, people. But anyways, I'm not going to change the title of my hangout. So fuck it.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, we still got 3 more weeks to go, so
No, the fact that
if we can get drunken peasants on board, that would be awesome. So, Vincent, I need you to work on that majorly. And if they want, I will come in and advocate for True. I will go on Drunken Peasants, and I'll be happy to advocate for True Empiricism for Dumb Fuck of the Year.
I wonder if we could get G-Man back on the Drunken Peasants and then have him complain about the Dumb Fuck of the Year inadvertently.
He'd complain why he is on the list or not on the list.
I might send something to TJ too.
Well, if you're going to send something to TJ, message him on Facebook. The only way to actually get on the Drunken Peasants is to give them money, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's probably true. I know they really hunted the Patreon thing. So that's the difference between mine and theirs. I do live on Patreon. I'm not gonna lie, it means a lot to me. But I don't determine who comes in and who doesn't based on Patreon. That's absurd.
It's not just that.
I don't treat anybody.
Now,
there are some people in this community that have been very, very generous. I don't treat them any different from anybody else. I'll block them or mute them. I'll do what I got to do if they get out of line. I don't give anybody special benefits if they're a Patreon or not, except for that we have special events. They can come in ahead of anybody else. That's at least I can do. Like, for example, if Dr. Ross joins us, a Patreon, that I'm going to give them priority seating, and that's to be expected.
Yeah. Well, right now, like, the Drunken Peasants are having to do their shows on TJ's channel because the Drunken Peasants channel literally got taken down by a DMCA strike from Tommy Sotomayor.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And then
what was the DMCA strike about, though? I know Sotomayor had done that, but what were they?
Basically, Tommy's butthurt because they sent a bunch of people to his chat to type Glanderson Booper into it, and so he shut down his live feed. And so then he went to their video and DMCA'd it. And so then the next week they did it again, and they found out he was live streaming from a hotel, so they attempted to call the hotel to talk to him. And so he DMCA'd that video as well.
But how do you DMCA if you don't have the rights to it? They could fight that.
You can DMCA for anything. So they're currently
right,
involved
but I mean,
in
you
an
fight
actual
it,
lawsuit over this.
But you can actually sue somebody for a false DMCA.
They are involved in a lawsuit over this, but until the lawsuit is settled, their channel is shut down. So they are currently suing him for damages while their channel is shut down. Now they've already missed.
Win? I think they have a good. I think.
Oh yeah, like their lawyers told them they will most likely win. Now they've already missed at least 2 shows. From what I understand about what they make, and I shouldn't be speculating about this on air, but that's at least a couple $1,000s that he owes.
Oh sure, they have 4,000 views a pop.
Well, no, it's not just
Yeah,
that.
I mean
it's what they
that's
make,
thousands
what
of
they make on
dollars it runs
Patreon.
into.
Then they make ad revenue from what their advertisers pay them because they actually have paid advertisers.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention what they make off Patreon
Oh,
because I
sure. I
know
think they
that
should shoot his ass off.
the associate producer slot for Patreon was something like $2 or $3 grand, and that slot was full last I checked.
Could Tommy lose his account?
I have a feeling Tommy will lose his account and
Yeah, I
possibly
think
his
so too.
house.
You know, it's funny is
Um,
I checked Atheism Unstoppable's Patreon the other day. It's just kind of a random thing because I've been talking to somebody about Devin, and do you know he gets like $2,700 a month in Patreon to be a racist? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? The guy gets $2,700 a month.
Don't call him a racist. That's just going to give him an excuse to be a douche.
Well, I mean, he is a racist,
Like-
but he is a racist. I mean,
No,
I was going to have him on the
no,
show,
no.
but people talked me out of it. But, you know, I've watched his stuff, and it seems very racist to me.
He's a quasi-racist. He makes arguments that racists make and goes just shy of being racist so that people call him a racist so that he can fake outrage at being called a racist.
Yeah, well, that's still pretty damn stupid.
It's really dumb, but what he wants is for people to call him a racist.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Don't
He's
give
race
him that
baiting.
satisfaction.
He's literally race baiting.
He's literally, yes.
Yeah, it's literally
Don't
race
give him
baiting.
that satisfaction.
Yeah, so even if he's not a racist, it doesn't really matter for him to do that. It's just not worth my time. I don't.
Well, he's found his niche just like every other animal on YouTube. He's
Yeah,
found his niche.
I mean, but again, you know, these people, and I understand, you know, God bless people for the Patreon. Without that, I'd be so screwed in my life right now. But, I mean, I'm not going to change my fundamental core beliefs to be a flat earther or to promote that kind of bullshit, even if it is. I mean, right now my Patreon went down quite a bit due to various reasons because people have some financial problems. But, you know, I mean, I'm down to like $160-something a month. It doesn't even cover my rent. But, you know, these guys are making $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's just
for peddling.
I couldn't imagine something like that. I would never even want that high a Patreon. I couldn't.
See,
even imagine
Steve, your
that.
problem is you have integrity.
I know it sucks. Don't
If you
tell
sold
people
out
that,
the
though.
integrity, you'd just be making mad cash here.
Well, I've had people offer. I mean, shit. I had Gman offer. He's like, "Oh, I'll give you $100 to have a debate with you." I'm not like that. You know, yes, it's. I'm not saying that I don't do this for the Patreon. Of course, I do. I have to rely on it right now, but I'm not going to sacrifice certain core principles I have. I just can't.
No.
That would be more detrimental to me than having a place. I'd rather live in my car and knowing that I fucking stood up for what I believe in.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I know people who don't even do YouTube that have Patreons that are like that kind of big. Let me see here.
It's really hard to wrap your head around, like people honestly promoting a flat Earth and that they're getting paid by other individuals who agree.
I can't wrap my head around it. That's the problem.
It's crazy. It is absolutely
Drainism.
crazy.
Do you know what Drainism Patreon is?
I've seen it a while back, but
He was making $500 or $600.
It was a
on
few
Patreon,
thousand, I think it was. Let me check again. Drainism Patreon. Yeah, one thing I do like about Patreon, it is open. Anybody can go look at it. I think that's cool. I think it should be open. Oh no, it's okay, but he's okay. He's a lot less than I thought, but still, he makes $319 off Patreon to be a fucking flat earther. Over twice of what I have. I actually have more Patreons than him, I think, barely. But damn, I mean, people pay for flat earthers. All right, what the fuck is wrong with you people? How is that entertainment?
no
that's
clue.
scary.
Well, no, I mean, people pay for all kinds of stuff on Patreon. Like, I mean, here. Okay, that's one.
It boggles my mind, dude. Just boggles my mind.
This is one that I was supporting while I could. I can't right now.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and you know what's funny is, like I said, I know a lot of people that can't, but the fact they come in here and they at least participate, that helps my channel because then people want to listen. I mean, if I can't get people in here, nobody's going to want to listen to me babble for fucking 3 hours, right? That's just not what I do. I facilitate conversations. Who's this one you just posted, Vincent?
That's a friend of mine. He does a webcomic.
Oh, see, yeah. I've seen those that webcomic stuff. Yeah, see,
Yeah,
I'm all
but I
for
mean, you
that.
can
That's worthwhile for people that like anime, right? I could see that.
yeah, you can do a Patreon for just about anything.
But Flat Earth, come on. I'm sorry. That's just fucking retarded.
Shit, PBS Space Time has a freaking Patreon.
Well, I
And
might
that's
have to have.
PBS.
I might have to at the end of the month. I might have to have a Patreon recruiting thing. I don't know. Like I said, I got to figure out something. Luckily, right now my YouTube videos, because of December, are actually making a little bit more than normal because going into season, the advertisers tend to pay more. So I'm actually seemingly making a little bit more off the advertisements, but we'll see. I have to check at the end of the week. But that's only if I get like 500,000 views or something. But anyways, I'm going to call this hangout to a close. Let's get last thoughts in. Just the end results. Darwin's Deity is 248. True Empiricism was 247. So it's neck and neck, anybody's game. But I'm still hoping that you guys like make some socks and go vote for Ronnie. I really want to see him win. I think most people do. So,
Yeah.
You guys, anyone have the last word? Anybody?
Sure. I think the fight challenge is fucking stupid. Don't get me wrong. I think it is absolutely unnecessary. I haven't even told my wife about it yet. It's so fucking stupid. But again, there should be no conversation that we had over the internet that would elicit such a response from folks. So, we'll see what happens
Well,
with
let us
that.
know if he contacts you and says.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sure I'll make a video about it, right? But
yeah.
All right.
Well, we'll see. But I will be in New York Friday to like Monday. If you are there's a few people have kind of hit me up in private. So feel free either on Facebook or on G+, so we can see about meeting up. We will still be having some type of event to promote the fundraiser for Gus. And it might involve me busting my ass on the ice rink, but whatever. It's all in good fun. So other than that, pick up a book and read it.
Here you go. Pick up a book and read it.